the Connoisseurs of the Fight Life. Andrew Freelove here. Get some MMA. I'm gonna let my guys introduce themselves.
Roman J. Gonzalez on Twitter and Instagram.
Sweet. I am Adrian Webb. The Lost Boy Rob on Instagram. That's probably all you're going to get out of me. We also keepfightinginc.org is our website. We'll talk about that later.
I'm Angel Cortez. On Instagram, it's Angel G Cortez 175.
All right, I'm gonna let Adrian talk about himself, his nonprofit, what we're here for today.
All right, so I have a nonprofit that I started after doing 2 years research with this gym in particular, with Andrew, Adam, Justin, and Jose. And documentary's up on my website, which you can probably find. But I created this nonprofit to try to fund veterans' transition. So when they get out of the military, whatever branch of service they're in, as long as they're actually, if they're in the reserves and they're trying to do this shit, I'm definitely not going to pay for that. But once they get out and doing some shit, like, cool. But ideally, I'm trying to get veterans into gyms, train mixed martial arts, and it helps them like find the community, really keep finding themselves and keep themselves out of trouble, keep themselves out of problematic behaviors of getting drunk all the time. That's one thing I can play with, man. I get fucking drunk all the time. You know, like if I don't train and I don't like work out, don't do things, yeah. Like it probably could be a really bad scenario because it's not like a culture problem that I had, but it's definitely a thing that the Marine Corps breeds in you. It's like, hey, like let's get drunk all the time when we're not doing crazy hardcore shit. So ideally, I'm trying to pay for at least 2 years of guys shooting dudes. If they apply, work out, trying to raise money right now. Now in the formation process where we have everything set up, we have the bank accounts, we've got infrastructure for our websites, and right now we're trying to raise funds and get people invested so we can get these guys, out of trouble and into gyms and hopefully like eventually into the UFC. That's a fucking dream, guys. Like, yeah, I want to sponsor a motherfucker wearing that shirt of mine. Like,
that would be cool. Because right now, like how many big time. I mean, I'm rocking Kyle Stewart right now. He was in the UFC. I think he's back in LFA right now. He had a LL stint. Sorry, Kyle, but you can go back after me. He was at welterweight. And then we have Brian Stan, like the main veteran. And then Tim Kennedy, Ranger.
Yeah.
Tim Kennedy probably, you could probably argue. I mean, if you want to do a dick measuring contest with him, Brian Stan. Was Brian
was an officer.
The WEC champion, right?
Yeah, 205 champion.
Tim, but like when he went to the UFC, I think Tim did pretty better. I'd say Tim. Tim was down. He had some notable wins. Any other veterans you guys think of?
Name.
Which one?
There was a dude on Ultimate Fighter. He was a Ranger.
There was the Army guy. Blonde?
Yeah, the blonde dude.
What was his name? That's the one that was super controversial. Yeah.
He looks like TJ Dillashaw's like older.
Right in Army Tough Young Blood.
Colton Smith.
Colton Smith, yeah, he was in there.
Colton Smith.
And Frank Lester too, he was on Tough too, he was a Marine. And I was a striking coach at Jack, which I think there was some dramas there, so he might have been like fired, so I don't know. So yeah, it'd be cool. But otherwise there's a lot of like MMA fighters that are veterans. There's Shane Crush, who's a Marine down in San Diego. That's the one that just got taken out by Aaron Pico and Bellator. There's Liz Carmouche. She's a former Marine.
Really?
She fought for the title.
Sick.
She's been a Marine.
I didn't
You know that?
Yeah,
The first openly gay female fighter that, I mean, she had the title fight with Rousey at 135, and then she dropped down to 125 for a flyweight with Valentina. That was just recently. Now she's a Bellator. So.
I didn't know that. That's
No, she just got dropped in Bellator, which if she fights at 125, she's gonna fight her teammate Lady McFarland, Hawaiian Princess, Pineapple Princess.
Yeah.
Brandon Bear was apparently in the Air Force.
Oh, Brandon Bear?
Randy Couture.
Oh,
was in
yeah.
the Army.
There you go.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, Jorge Rivera, Tim Krajur, Neil
Neil
Magny was a light wheel.
Oh yeah, Tim Magny. Yeah, I love Neil Magny, and he's in the Army.
National Guard. Yeah, and,
He's in National Guard.
About 10 guys right there.
All right, so there's a lot.
Okay.
So how did this all start, dude? Like,
well, one, I've been fighting since I was like in high school. Hockey and like kickboxing stuff, but I ended up getting into because we have a mixed martial arts program in the Marine Corps, and I got to like brown belt, and the admin fucking lost my paperwork, so I just never got like a good credit. It's like, dude, I just went through fucking hell for this shit.
That's just the military, bro.
It's like, oh fuck, okay. It was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna keep fighting. So I got, I kept fighting. A few different fight teams out about Marine Corps martial arts stuff, which at the time like, I thought was really cool. I thought it was so hardcore. I've been in so many fights growing up because I'm like 5'4".
Side note, it's kind of worthless. Just saying. I think the Army combative system is actually way better than the MAP.
Nah, it's you know how to get beat up,
But it,
yeah. Like level 1 combatives is you know how to get beat up.
I mean, it's definitely like no black belt in any other. I mean, I guess Taekwondo or anything else, but like Jiu-Jitsu is definitely not. 'Cause to get a Jiu-Jitsu black belt, like getting your fucking PhD. Like
Right.
it takes fucking forever.
Oh yeah.
You get your MAC black belt like through
Well,
trial.
a couple weeks. Yeah, a couple hard, really hard.
Give you some
CPs.
shady deals with somebody with an instructor tab. Yeah.
I know at Camp Roberts they had some legit jiu-jitsu going on up there, and San Luis Obispo had a legitimate combatives program with guys, legit guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's the viral videos of like female like jiu-jitsu practitioners or MMA fighters like tapping male Marines. So it's literally like male Marines are the cops and brown skills isn't that great.
I know somebody who got because Hoist Gracie would show up to like different, I think it was Navy bases. It would just teach like little jujitsu.
Yeah, the military, actually, I think
somebody
the
got
app
to
is
take
based
it.
off of Ken Shamrock. He's the one, the advisor that hired Ken Shamrock, or
Ken
Frank.
no, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Ken. He was the advisor for MACP, and then.
So a lot of them.
And no, the MACP is the Army shit. But I think he was the advisor on that, and then I know Hoist and Horion got tapped into the Army.
That's actually, I did a story over here. That's how Jiu-Jitsu kind of came over to the U.S. It was for the military first. They were trained military, and then they went to, civilians like Hollywood.
Al Bundy.
Like Horion, and then they went to Hollywood like Bruce Lee, and they were trying to switch up the choreography, make it more entertaining.
Yo, Hitman 4, by the way, dives into this.
Another movie.
Yeah, it's hysterical. So apparently a guy from San Diego who's training with Bruce Lee ends up going back to San Diego. He's like working in the drill field, and they have like a hotel company, which is still in San Diego. But they have this giant in the room. They have this
Oh, like a boot camp
yeah.
company?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They have this
Hotel.
giant, yeah.
How's Kilo? What up?
Nice. It's garbage golf. But they had these like an entire huge gymnasium and then like a huge mat area and like weights all over the place. It's like this is what the Marine Corps used to be. Like holy fuck, like, why don't we go back to that? Just like wake up every morning and just go train all
That
day,
heartbreak
like,
read,
fight each
trying
other.
to.
Yeah. Now they try to like make you like learn to read and like do math and shit.
We don't know how to read. Come on. Here comes the memes.
Hit right there in the middle.
Yeah.
That's So I started training and doing stuff. But like when I got out of the Marine Corps, fighting became a whole different kind of thing because I had nothing else. When I got all this free fucking time and all this money, like unemployment, GI Bill. That people know, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I worked my ass off, but I just didn't have any good friends. I didn't really know how to like interact with people and shit. It was really hard because I was a sergeant in the Marines. It was like I was fucking hard as nails all the time. I'm like hanging out with like 18-year-old, 19-year-old college kids. Like they didn't fucking get that shit. They didn't understand. They were like, oh man, this guy's really like edgy. Somebody told me that once. You're like, hey man, like you're really intense.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like proud of myself and shit. It's like that's what they tell you to do. Like it's be intense. Be intense all the time. Where people don't listen to you. It's like they definitely listen. I think they
So this all stems from your master's thesis, and so yeah, college educated. We're not just training either here.
So I finished my master's thesis recently, which is all about training here with these guys and what mixed martial arts offered them in their transition, like Marines who just got out.
What were you trying to prove with the master's thesis?
Well, they'd be beneficial for transition. Like a lot of guys, like the thing is, that all this literature you read when you're investigating this particular topic, saying that like we're alcoholics, we get locked up and get fuck people up. We end up like beating our wives and ending up homeless. And my favorite one is just fucking killing yourself, right? So it's like all these things. Like, well, hey man, like I know a whole crew of people that doesn't do any of those things, like, and they all fucking train. It's like okay, like I gotta put 1, 2, and 2 together here. It's like Like this is actually exactly the kind of thing that I think would be beneficial for these dudes. Like so instead of doing all those different things, like maybe if we just fight and like I can figure out a way to prove whether or not this is a good idea, I can then do something later afterwards. And that's kind of why I created a nonprofit. Where I want to pay for veterans to go and train for at least a year in a mixed martial arts gym, and well, they have to show up. They have to have like there's certain conditions and things involved in like making sure they do that because like when you don't have somebody looking over anymore, maybe it's harder to. But I think that the social cohesion, community aspect of fighting will actually bring people together.
That brotherhood.
Yeah.
Camaraderie.
So I'm gonna ask Angel and Roman here. What are you guys' like first thoughts when you hear this kind of proposal for this nonprofit?
It's a great idea. I've been telling people when they message me like, I'm getting out of the army. Like, how was your transition? Or some people will be like, oh, I saw or heard you on this podcast, or I saw your video, you talk about it. And, like, what are some tips? And I tell them, go join a gym, but specifically a martial arts gym. Because you can go to a 24-hour fitness, LA Fitness, and go in, do your thing, right? Maybe get a great workout, and during that, whatever, 45 to an hour, or however long you're in there, most likely you're not talking to anybody. You're not building any type of relationships. You just got to work out in, and then you left. But in a martial arts gym, you're forced to work with other people, and they'll push you. And it may not be the military brotherhood, but it's a different brotherhood that's just as strong and just as good.
I think so too.
And fighters and veterans are kind of the same. Like I talk to people who never were in the service, but they have that kind of like savage kind of mindset.
Man, like one thing me and Justin had this long conversation. It's in the documentary I made, but one thing we kept talking about is like I think like we're the same kind of people. I think that
Dog eat dog kind of world.
Yeah, man, like there's certain small demographic of men who have these certain behaviors that without certain kind of like exhibition of behaviors, they end up like imploding. Without these kind of like groups environments, I don't know if we would be able to like be happy, well-rounded, and like well-actualized individuals. Like one thing Justin said to me that it always fucks me up. I think about it all the time. Is like he started training with convicts when he was in San Antonio. It's like yeah, it's all male, right? It's super aggressive. Like some of the possibly some of the most at-risk group of people for like being like overly aggressive, like hyper masculine in those ways, right? So these fools, like it's like no man, like they're just like us, man. Like institutionalized and like fucking crazy. It's like fascinating. Like maybe that's like maybe something like look into like later in my life, right? But like one thing I've definitely come to terms with is that like guys who fight and guys who join the military, like they're not the same subset of dudes who work at fucking Kinko's, right? Like and maybe there's fools who are like, yo, I'm gonna join. I'll do one day, maybe I can do that, Like we all make that joke, like I was gonna join, but right, like the dudes that do, man, like even the weird ones that play WoW, like even those dudes are fucking hard as nails. Like one of the weirdest, goofiest, fucking nerdiest dude I know is a fucking murderer on the fucking scope, dude. One of the best trucks I've ever met. Can't even believe it. He can't even fucking run that far. Like, he's that guy behind the fucking rifle, dude. He's a fucking monster. It's like his fucking thick Coke bottle glasses. No, that's cool. Fucking good to go.
ECGs.
No, yeah.
Vertical glasses.
I kind of know who's
Pause real quick, because even young ones got this like, what the So BCGs are like these glasses, right?
Birth control goggles.
They're ugly as hell. They're like these solid like bifocal glasses like the military assigns. And I thought it was just Marines, but it's everybody.
Yeah, they made them pretty fashionable about like
4
years
The reason
ago.
they're birth control glasses because you'll never get laid
They
in the month.
thought they were like being rude or something, or like it was like demoralizing to their sense of self. It's like, dude, like
Those things were good.
dude, my friend still wears his because like no man, they're never gonna break. It hasn't
Yeah,
ever, they don't
yeah,
break.
they're made for the military,
Yeah.
like the field.
It's like, why would you not wear them?
I feel like that style of glasses too is more in terms of like fashion, more like I guess you could say in, just because like
Now
this
it is.
whole now it is.
I don't know, they're
Like,
pretty
this whole,
fucking ugly
like,
still.
I guess more hipster look being in, more like big glasses, long jackets, and this weird look. It just kind of fits.
Yeah, they changed it. They made it more like something you'd see on Jeff Goldblum.
Right. Life finds a way.
So Roman, what are your thoughts on this when you first heard about this nonprofit?
I think it's a phenomenal idea. There's guys that, like I have friends I went to my basic training with, this is 2010. Like my buddy William Shirk, I'm sure if if I shared, well, when we eventually release this, he'll hear about this, but he's out in Missouri. He was asking me, he's looking up different, jiu-jitsu gyms. Is this one legit? Is this one legit? Like, Gracie connected one. So like my friend Jordan Collins, he's Orion Gracie's first American-born black belt. So I'm like, hey man, my boy Shirk is looking at this spot and everything. He's like, tell him, look at this website. He found a spot, and it's been great for him because I know he's had some couple run-ins with the law, there's a certain type of person, like in the military, and there's a certain type of person in the gym. And I think going back to Angel's spot, his point is interaction. And I think interaction is real important because there's a certain level of accountability. Everybody is working with each other, even if you're just taking a regular jiu-jitsu class, to competing, because I know guys that compete, obviously, I know him pretty well. Kicked my ass. No, but
but now I'm going down a weight class, like I'm running.
Jed's making me go there, but
oh really?
Yeah. But
everyone's gonna be anorexic.
No, but it's great because the type of person that gets into fighting, that whole kind of like dog eat dog thing, at the end of the day, everyone's just doing it for each other. Like you go in. Some days you have wars with each other, but those are the best
humbles
days.
you.
Yeah,
It really does.
Those are some of the best days.
Because everybody has an on day and an off day. Like some days you're king of the world. Like I just kicked everyone's ass. The next day, like I got fucking ass raped.
Yeah.
I look forward to those days.
I
want to do well at least one day.
I mean, it's the same thing kind of concept. Like you learn better when you lose.
Right.
As I've been saying.
You lose or you win.
just that whole camaraderie of martial arts. It's great, especially with guys that are transitioning. Because I've met plenty of dudes. I was a nasty girl. I've met plenty of guys that, like I was joking around earlier. I said it's the Marine Corps retirement fund. There's a lot of guys that get out from there. Guys that get out from. I met a couple former Rangers in there. I mean, one of my best friends was in G75 and Charlie Company.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Dude named Eddie Vanderpoorten. But I've met plenty of guys that they transition out and they have no idea what to do because they get their unemployment, they get the GI Bill, and me, I have a kind of a dual perspective of it because I get to see like what it is. I haven't really personally experienced it myself, but I've seen it.
As we mentioned a little bit earlier before we started the podcast, it doesn't really. You're an adult. And when you're in the military, you're going through some different stripes that no one's gone through. But again, you're missing some stripes. So like you can go out and blow your whole paycheck out in town, at the bar, come back and you still have food and you still have a place to live and sleep at. So financial management is not a good, it doesn't really learn that well among military service members and veterans.
Right.
So it's a hard kind of transition.
The other transition is like anywhere you go in the military, man, you're gonna have friends that they're just like assigned to you. Like you show up at your first duty station and like you got fucking 13 friends in between you. Like,
Sometimes you're forced to like, I didn't even like you, but now we're friends.
Yeah. Like my
At first glance, I don't like you, but I gotta get to know you.
And I think that's the thing is like you could get put in situations, but and when you're out, there's not that same kind of like you have some kind of initiative. You're like you're like in college, you're in a class with like 100 people at first, right? I don't know. I went in like as a junior. I had all these credits and shit, so I didn't really get that like the huge like 100 people classroom shit. But what I recognize is like nobody has any requirement to get along or like meet each other. Whatever. Like everything you have to do is on your own. Like there's no one to be like, hey, this is our new guy in platoon. No one's like singling you out. And like, hey, like make him feel welcome. There's none of that when you get out. And I was like, that fucked me up. I was like, oh man, I want some friends. How do I find some friends? But also, even the friends I found, man, like that was fucking ridiculous and weird. It's because like there's no social accountability for your behaviors. I get like drunk at like noon, like right before my class. Like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do some philosophy drunk. What does Socrates say? Tight, cool. But yeah, that was the.
But I guess kind of to go back to what you're saying is like Is that kind of, because I noticed it with training where I feel like the one thing training and like you're saying with the military that kind of teaches you is like it goes back to the camaraderie where like you may not like the guy, you may think like he's a fucker for whatever belief or whatever thing, but at the end of the day, like a guy could train or be in the same squad as you, but you have that same, I guess, is there that same, I guess, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Just, I guess, being able to recognize and relate to each other. Like, oh, you do this intense thing, you know, like this intense thing, you know.
Or relatability, I
Yeah,
guess.
relatability is what I was looking for.
And I'll tie this into actually Angel because we had Jose on a documentary.
Yeah.
And you listen to Jose's stories from Puerto Rico, and he grew up in a hard life. Like by the time he got to the military, 3-5 Dark Horse Battalion, you know, he'd already been through a lot of, you know, I've already been through a few shootouts. Like it's not a big deal. It's like he grew up in a hard part of Puerto Rico in poverty, and I'm gonna hit it over to Angel. Angel does some shit before he even hit the military.
I mean, kind of like, yeah, man, like I wasn't like the biggest gangster ever, but like for sure, man, I was so involved. Like how deep I was involved into the military is like that's how deep I took my role in, and I didn't even at the time everybody was kind of saying like, hey, unofficially you're like the leader. So like within the whole gang itself, with a small portion, you know, my crew, they're like you're like our leader, dude. Like even though you're not like the main dude, but like you're our leader. And dude, I took, you know, so when one of our dudes got hurt or something, I took it upon myself to like lead the way, you know, and you know, violence coming towards us and us violence expressing towards other people. And I mean, by the age of 15, I already had a bulletproof vest and a gun, multiple guns. And, you know, I'd been stabbed and you know, I had some homies killed. And,
Hard times, mate. Hard men.
yeah, poor dude, you know, so like fucking, yeah, man. I mean, the military. I mean, I think that's why so many things are so much easier for me.
Yeah, that's I mean,
And then that transition out. I mean, it's still hard, but you got to find a way to find a balance.
Yeah.
And you've kind of found that through like the grind of the work.
Yeah.
You're pretty successful right now.
Yeah, because like when I got out, well, martial arts was a part of my life, and this is why I think your nonprofit is a great thing, because I wanted to do it, but I was so poor that sometimes we didn't even have dinner. So the idea of going to a martial arts class wasn't even that's like Disneyland shit. That's
a luxury.
That's a luxury, you know.
Yeah.
These guys punching each other in the face, that sounds like Disneyland to me.
So I'm fucking like, all right, but now that I'm in the military, now I can pay for it. So I started training, but obviously it's kind of hard to train when, I mean, like go every single day when, you know, you got deployments, you got fucking big operations, you know, within stateside training cycles, stuff like that. But I would still go as much as possible, and I even got to compete twice. So martial arts was a part of my career, but when I got out, I had no idea how much of a lifesaver it was going to be. You know, because I didn't have I totally missed, even the dudes who I thought were fucking lame, I missed them. You know,
Yeah.
So martial arts is a great thing, and back to like you get out, sometimes, you know, that fucking, no matter what, on the 1st and 15th we're getting paid.
Yeah.
But when you're out, that shit is cut off. So like thinking you're gonna spend $100 to $150 or whatever the fuck it is for a gym membership, like that shit's not even on the list now.
Man, I didn't have a bed for the first like 6 months after I got out. I didn't even, for whatever reason, my brain wasn't like, hey man, have a fucking bed, you know? Like I had like a yoga mat on the floor, and I was like, this is good. And like, I just didn't, yeah, like I slept in holes, you know, for like months. Like I don't give a fuck, you know. It's been my fighting hole. It's what I keep, you know.
There's actually a lot of veterans like that. They go homeless for like the first transition because they're used to the field.
Yeah.
So they go like camping and they'll be like homeless for like a few months.
Like I just like
I know a lot of guys like that.
I felt like doing that. There's times in society where I'm like, fuck, I need to go off the grid for a while.
And there's a meme, especially because, you know, like I was alive in Bravo, that was my job. But, you know, there was a meme in the infantry community where it was like the best, you know, the skill that the Army taught me was how to be homeless.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
They're coming.
And the thing is, like, sometimes when you get out, you might live with a friend or a family member, and they'll accept you, you know, because you just got out, so it's a big deal, and they'll help you out. But I don't think they plan to do it forever. So technically, even though you may be living in a family member or a friend's house, like you're homeless. this is your home.
You're bouncing on a couch.
Yeah.
Couch surfing.
And that couch ain't gonna be there forever. And then when it's not, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Dude, I literally don't have a home.
Yeah, dude, trust me, I've seen it. My buddy Will Unga, yeah, this dude was a mess. Like he was, he was in the Big Red One in Iraq, like during 07 and shit. So like he'd seen some shit and everything, but this guy was a big time alcoholic. I heard he's getting healthy needs now, but good. His life was a mess, and it's like his time going to the gym was like the best time for him. If him and my friend Jake, and I, if we go with him, because he has that interaction, but he never like went to a martial arts gym where he could have just had that constant cohesion with a group of people. And I feel like that was kind of a big downfall for him, which is where I think guys transitioning out, it should be I think it's a great thing for them to go to a martial arts gym, start training.
There's like a study. I read this like fucking years ago at this point. There was a study where they had these mice who were like addicted to cocaine because they just kept giving them cocaine. They're like, hey, it's cocaine, sugar, and water, right? Like, hey, we're gonna keep doing this. They had these fucking mice in isolation. So like, as soon as they could, they would just like start waking up with like cocaine water, like get fucked up. But like, as soon as you put these mice in a social environment where they can like play, have wheels, and like fuck, do the fucking thing that little mice do, it wouldn't touch the cocaine. Cocaine didn't matter, I think human beings aren't that far away from mice evolutionarily. So you isolate these assholes, and once they get out, you give them a community to go to exhibit the kind of behaviors they've learned culturally and socially from the
Drug use, things like that, alcohol use.
Yeah, I get trashed often, but I do it recreationally, and I have a point where I'm like, I'm gonna get this fucked up, play some video games until I can't like actually like do the right things, and then I'm gonna take a nap.
It's not like 24/7.
Yeah, a controlled environment. It's
Right. Also, I have fucking headset on with my fucking friends. When I'm talking mad shit, we're just like doing whatever and like failing miserably at like trying to place in the top 10 of fucking Call of Duty. That's just kind of the shit we do. Like I feel like one that's been a lifesaver for the fucking last couple months. But like otherwise, man, like being in a gym, man, there's nothing like that kind of social like community that I've had before. And the Marine Corps was cool because you're like forced to do these schools. But like I choose to go to a gym with my friends.
So it's kind of even better.
Yeah, it's way better. No, man. Like I fucking when I first met Adam, like I didn't know that Adam like ran the gym. I had no idea. I was like looking for who Adam was, and I was like, oh man, who the fuck is this dude? And it's oh man, cool. Like you're a Marine. I looked at this fucking like
Mark 19 tattoo.
Yeah, it's like you're Chihuahua. He's like, yeah. I'm like, you're Adam, right? Cool, man. I've been trying to meet you. All right, tight. And then my
thing to shoot.
Yeah.
It was.
Fuck
My
yeah.
favorite one.
Oh, man.
I was in the Mark 19 group, so yeah. Cat combined the entire team.
Since you guys have talked about like just that issue with coming out of military for like kind of learning money management and not having that skills really developed, how did you guys just, I guess personally, like learn how to actually manage?
You hit the ground running, you accrue some alcoholic debt.
Can I get a drink somehow? Yeah, I want some more whiskey, honestly.
Yeah.
But there's probably flies in that cup, so I'm gonna rinse those flies out.
You see, the trick is what I should have
Is
told
there-
you.
is there flies in
pour
that
a little bit,
Okay.
you swish it around, you toss it on the ground.
Yeah,
I don't know how they feel about on these mats.
Thank you.
That's the
This is some
Richard
good fucking
Madison.
scotch here.
Yeah, this is the Delmore 12.
We're definitely fulfilling that stereotype of that.
Also, he's not getting cut out.
Well, imagine, man. Taught me out, dude.
Listen, I know who I am, all right? Like not sure my girlfriend. She's like, baby, like, you're drinking too much. It's like, I know who I am. I'm not doing this every day, right? I do it maybe like once a week,
Yeah. No, there's definitely certain like
There is like
when
a
it comes
tolerance
drinking.
too.
No, I'm Irish. Like, I fucking like tolerance with you. Like it gets upsetting. Like I can get rid of like half a fucking.
Wait, do you get the belt buckle that does it? Oh, you got
Yeah. I put too many beers in my garage.
Same here. I got that same belt buckle. That's like the best belt buckle to have.
It's the Volcom special.
Oh, that's
Dude,
right.
I used to- I
Oh,
used
dude,
to have
yeah. Great.
They don't even make the same. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure they don't, dude, because I bought that when I was
I don't
15,
even
man.
remember which
haven't
one I
seen it
had. It
since.
had the one little clip.
I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
the
reasons
same
for
way.
that. They want to like keep pushing on the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking great for anything.
Man, what was your question?
It was basically like since you guys have talked about how difficult
Alcohol break.
Sorry, whole little alcohol break. So basically, like you said, when you go into the military, you're in kind of, in terms of finances, this more babied situation where you don't get to learn the skills of just financial responsibility and all that. Like, how did you guys personally learn that coming out of the military, not having to worry about this thing and then just going like, oh shit, I'm, like you said, I'm not getting this paycheck on the 1st of the month and the 15th.
Yeah.
I
So
can't
you're,
just like
you're
blow
on
them
the
all.
tit, like the government is like a tit you're on.
Yeah.
Kind of like welfare or anything else, which is fine to be on. You're on it for temporarily, but then you gotta get off the tit. You gotta grow up.
Oh,
Yo, is my limo good there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, what a fucking flex.
Limo's cool.
And we're back.
So money.
Yeah, you were saying that you
How are you guys not broke anymore?
Yeah.
Like I said, you gotta get off the tit. And it is hard for most people. It's a hard transition. I mean, you're gonna get some financial assistance, so unemployment, things like that. Most people jump on the GI Bill. So we're still kind of on that government tip for a while. But then you kind of find your niche. And like, you have, Adrian has his nonprofit, and he has things like that. And then Angel over here is a killing entrepreneur. And then there's fighting. And then you kind of get in that life too.
That pays well,
No, not at all. But you can do some personal training. It'll get you by at least.
We had to pay for these Modelos.
huh? Yeah, but there's one thing that I keep thinking about is like I grew up super poor, and for whatever reason my family just never went to, like, we never got welfare. Like I grew up in a series of trailer parks, and I think all the time I'm like, there could have been an opportunity for like some from government assistance, But then I joined the military, and like I had all this funding for so long, and then like 6-7 months of unemployment, and then like the job bill it paid me for like 7 years because I switched over to another thing with my
Vocational rehab.
yeah.
It was like a 12-month extension, and it lasted you that long.
Well, no, there was an indefinite extension because I had 80%, so I got like a buckload.
It depends on your counselor, because I'm getting fucked over right now.
Yeah, you do. There's a few counselors that can suck a fucking dick.
Dude, I know some people that get like 80% that never did dick. Like almost like my same situation. Like, oh yeah, and blah, blah, I did this.
You gotta file the right way.
Yeah.
VFW, thank you.
Like,
Yeah, right, shit.
like,
Thank you for the VFW.
I think in my mind, man, it's like somebody else is gonna take who did less than you, and that was one of the mantras I had. Like, okay, like 'cause I felt guilty, man. Like, cause like I'm fucked up. Like I can still feel my toes mostly, Like I can, nothing's blown away. Like I just have any fucking minds, I got all my limbs. Like I'm pretty set, but like fuck, dude. Like you wake up with like fucking weird panic attacks, or like I can't sit too long in a weird position, or like I literally will lose feelings in both my fucking legs. It's like, well, fuck, Like, well, why not me? Why not me get that money, But what I did with it, I think, is even better, honestly. Like some assholes just take it and just eat that fucking money and do nothing and sit on the fucking couch. Meanwhile, like my first goal was like, okay, like if I do this, I'm gonna go to grad school. If I take this extra fucking money, I'm gonna go to grad school. I'm gonna get a fucking master's degree. I'm gonna do this research for these, for the veterans, and I'm gonna like fucking put that money back into the same kind of thing to help other veterans. It's like there's dudes, man. Like one of my friends, like he got fucked up. He had like 6 IEDs. That fool didn't get anything. He didn't file yet. Like why wouldn't you do that? He's like, no, man, it's cool. I'm like, well, at least for that guy, like I can at least get him a spot if he wants to fight ever, if he wants to train. And people like him, and too many fucking people in the military, man. Like we're not made of fucking steel, We're not made of glass, for goddamn sure. But like at least we know that we're not fucking,
You're humans.
Yeah,
You're humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There is, and that goes back to like the suicide thing and not like leadership for help, but that's where this nonprofit or just training martial arts in general comes in. So you've all heard the saying. I mean, if I had a fucking dollar, I'd be like, oh, jiu-jitsu saved my life, but it really applies to veterans.
Yeah.
It's that constant grind. So we've already we've talked about that grind, where we want to grind. Like we're not just going on a drinker bender. I mean, we might go for like 2 weeks at drinking bender, but like we want to grind. We want to get that grind in, whether it's mostly through training. Like I can't go a full week without some sort of physical hard grind, like activities, whether it's like jiu-jitsu, rolling, run, but mostly in terms of martial arts, like I need to spar. Like I want to spar at least once a week.
I can't go a day without pushing myself.
Yeah.
I feel like such a piece of shit if I don't do something.
I feel like that's like a military identity. Like you attack yourself, kind of.
No, absolutely. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
The thing is dude, it's some, man. It's some, because some dudes get out and they fucking,
That is a good point,
you know,
actually. It's not.
it's some, because like,
They get over it.
yeah, because I got out, so
They think I'm done now. Like I'm kind of retired. Like, no, the grind don't
So I
stop.
want to
yeah,
again.
they think
Fucking
it's over,
miles.
man. But
And
it's
I think
not,
that's where
man.
martial arts ties in.
And that's how it was for me. So I got out and I had already heard all the horror stories of like dudes going back in after like 6 months, or you know, getting fat and being homeless and stuff like that. And I would look at myself and I'm like, dude, like,
First sergeant was right. I'm gonna live under a bridge.
what the fuck, dude? Like, I was like, dude, that's not gonna be me, man, you know? And then when I got out, dude, I didn't like the stereotype, because I had seen, at the time, the memes weren't as popular, but I had seen like videos and pictures of like angry vets, and like they're fat and they're, you know, and all
There's
this
definitely
shit.
a psychology thing, and
Yeah.
there's different people.
You meet some of them.
I think that
Yeah.
I see that shit, those stereotypes, and that fuels me. I say, fuck no, I push against that.
Yeah, because like
It's the haters. The haters make you rise.
yeah, because like there's this whole thing of like, because you know, media likes to push certain things, and I think too much of the broken veteran thing is all over, because it's like, no, man, we're not everyone is fucking broken. We're functional people as well. There's people, I know veterans who are in every single type of business, and some of them own that business, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna continue the success and what the military has taught me. And then I go to school and then meet dudes who are like, yo, man, C's get degrees.
I hate that mentality.
Dudes show up, you know, half drunk and this and that. I'm like, and then if they see me talking to, you know, one of the female veterans, I'm like, oh, and they'll ask me like, oh, you know, you just get back from the gym or whatever, and then like they take that as like somehow like you're insulting them or attacking them, and they're like, I'm not gonna wake up. I don't have to wake up anymore. No one tell me to wake up anymore. Run. And it's like, what the fuck, like. Dude, like that's something with you internally that you have to say something like that.
Dude, man, what you're absolutely right. Like, one thing is like, hey, dumbass, like this wasn't made to like punish you. Like they're trying to make like an optimal human being that can like perform the highest caliber of warfare.
Yeah.
Like you got a fucking gift on a golden plate that they paid you to do, and like you just like piss that shit away. It's so insulting. It makes me quite
It's
fucking
like
angry.
Matt Best thing where his
Matt
book
Best.
was called
Right.
"Thank You for My Services." Think about all the cool shit you get to do. Like before, you know, I never even touched a weapon in my life, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm 18 years old,
Yeah.
Fort Benning, Georgia. I was like, this is cool. You know, firing a 50 cal machine gun.
No, you know, veterans aren't perfect. There's some toxic trait. There's entitlement, and then there's
Can I say one more thing? It's like the biggest battle I had to deal with like I'm talking. So in my master's degree for this whole process, like I was communicating with like academic professionals who could not get their fucking head around. There were veterans who weren't broken. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, do I seem like one? However, sometimes I was very drunk, but also like it didn't stop me from getting A's. You know, like, did you know, I had fucking pneumonia in boot camp. Like, you know, like I kept getting heat exhaustion in, you know, combat training. In fucking comp school, I had a fucking rolled ankle. I was in a fucking cast, you know, like, but I still fucking outperformed anybody I could, you know, given that like this is the kind of shit that was given to me. You know, like, I just had shit I didn't deal with. But I think, man, like I was dealing with these conversations constantly. Where like, oh, don't you think that's like maybe not the best thing for these guys? Maybe they should probably go for like maybe like group therapy. Hey guys, like, how many times do you want to go fucking talk about that shit? Like,
jiu-jitsu is group therapy.
no, that's exactly. This is my point. This is the same thing. My counter argument is like, no, like you're asking these dudes who've trained their mind and body to be able to like suppress certain kind of emotions that have been detrimental because they don't make certain things happen. If you were to indulge in like your sadness and your despair in these certain moments in your training, would you have succeeded?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to talk about it a little bit, but like you need some sort of outlet to be positive. Otherwise, you're going a downward spiral. I think that's what you're getting at.
Exactly. I
And
think
does
it's
that kind of go back to what you guys were saying with the camaraderie thing of like, obviously it naturally just, I think most men just naturally, some just have the hardest time sharing their emotions, but meanwhile you're training with somebody, you're fucking damn near smashing each other, choking the shit out of each other. So that barrier kind of, I guess, breaks down to where you can kind of, maybe you don't go in depth, but maybe you're like, hey man, how's it going this week? Oh, not too good. you know,
Yeah,
where you're
small
able,
talk.
yeah, the
Small talk is
talk.
kind of nice.
You know, how much does that really kind of help?
And yeah, there's kind of accountability between that because like if you don't like where were you Tuesday at the Tuesday morning session? Like come on, like we're supposed to work. Come on.
And you know what? I've noticed like you're just like for me, I'm not gonna lie to my chick, and I'm not gonna lie to my training partners.
Yeah.
Right,
You
right.
know,
Yeah,
it's like,
that's a good.
you know,
I love that. Thanks. Dude.
like,
That's a good philosophy.
That's like
It's like
they ask me
accountability.
like, all right, you know, like
There was accountability in the military. Like you're always accountable for your actions. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
martial arts kind of does that for you. There's accountability.
so like I
And
was
there's that
trying
gym
to
cohesion, that family.
Well, also too, I feel like that's the one thing that's, and I find it even with just like talking with my friends who don't train or not the most athletic or maybe not into fitness, like how they almost have a hard time being coached. Where, you know, I feel like within like from what I've seen with military vets and then martial artists is like there's just this automatic truth. There's no bullshit barrier. You know, like if you're fucking up something or like let's say you're fucking up a transition, your training partner isn't going to be like, well, I see what you're trying to go for here, but if you could just really, they're just going to be like, no, so get it right.
Criticism. So yeah, veterans can, for the most part, we're learning.
there's a level of exposure that comes with it.
Yeah.
Like if you're out on a field training exercise and you fuck something up, like, you know, I went to National Training Center, the NTC right there at Fort Irwin. You know, you're not supposed to, you know, cock that 240 when it's on, or load the 240 when it's on safe because you do that, sends off around. I had a friend that did that. Thank God we had blanks on going because it would have shot one of my other friends in the back, like straight up.
Why is that? Is that due from like heat from sending it off, or I had a buddy accident.
Belt fed.
Yeah, I know. So it's open bolt. So like I had a buddy accidentally like he slapped it and it went off, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a big.
Well, that's what. Well, you probably had the M60.
No, we oh, army jokes. Yeah, we got the cheap shit. No, it's 240, but yeah, the open bolt. So you just slap it, you don't hit the trigger, and with the open bolt, it'll go forward. But and I mean, there's also just like heat will, especially with a 50 cal. When the 50 cal gets so hot, it will set one off. So like you're sitting, we like leave off the gun line. Next thing you know, a round goes off, and everyone's like, just heat. Don't worry. But yeah, there's definitely accountability and just when there's definitely criticism. Like when you mess up, like you're
Next time I
accountable.
punch somebody, I'm gonna be like, it's heat. Sorry, just heat, guys. Just heat. Hot round off. Sorry.
I feel like guys in the military community just know how to deal with constructive criticism.
You know how to take
Most
things
people-
with a grain of salt. Well,
Yeah.
everything in the military, especially Marine fucking Corps, is kind of fucking stupid. Like you can't have ice in your freezer. And you're like, why can't I have ice in my freezer? Because it's a freezer. But wait,
Because the
it's a
terrorists will win.
freezer.
You can't have a George Foreman grill, but they let you like. So I'm a comm guy, right? Like my responsibility was to deal with like $500,000 switchboards. I had two of them. So like this fucking young corporal was like in charge of two of these fucking like huge switchboard operations, right? I could do that. They wouldn't let me fucking.
Or even manning like a dangerous weapon, like a
Oh, yeah.
an automatic grenade launcher that could cause death upon thousands, or a javelin, or a explosive missile.
Yeah.
But I can't have that in my room.
Cool. Well, yeah, you're right. Fucking okay. You've seen some bad parties, you know?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I mean, there's some times where like obviously don't get these fucking people any more responsibility than they need, but also like restrict it when you can. But I don't know. My thing is like we've been dealing with like this weird like infantilization versus like the utmost responsibility, and there's no way to really balance it out. It's like in the Marine Corps, or at least in the military in general. In my experience in the Marine Corps, guys in the Army, there's like they give you these set of descriptive responsibilities. In these responsibilities, you know exactly what you're supposed to do, and then what you're not supposed to do, right? And like when you leave, you get out of that shit, man. Like no longer have any responsibility, and, like, so there's nothing else to weigh you down. To like keep you like honest, keep you fucking accountable. So like now the only thing keeping you together is like, hey, read these 3 chapters. Meanwhile, you've been fucking crushing MCIs, or I don't know what the equivalent is in the Army. Do you have those?
I don't even know what that is.
Marine Corps Institute. This is like taking a test to get points and you get promoted. It's like
Like,
map of Marines, and there's like
Yeah,
some
you'll
education.
pay-
There's land, there's some like there's some grunt ones too, like land nav or learning the 240 or whatever.
Yeah, the Army has its education system. It goes on to your perms.
Oh yeah.
And you can sometimes get that transfer college credit, but not really.
I got a couple. No, the land nav and
Yeah, I got like some 12 credits.
A couple of them got
Yeah,
into it.
and, like, you get credits from boot camp too, like the learning the history and whatnot.
Right.
It made me feel like a genius on my app. I took it. An LT took me out with him.
Oh, you already lost. You already lost.
I was like, dude, I'm just following this guy. And he goes, I think we should cut through there. And I'm all looking at the map. It's like, sure, we could just avoid all of that terrain right there just by going around right here. He's like, no, this will be quicker. And I'm looking at, because if you know how to fucking read a map, you see the lines get closer.
The hill, yeah.
Nah, bro, like that is not what I'm saying here. Okay, whatever you said we're doing. But
Did y'all anybody go to Japan?
Yeah, Okinawa, and then I went to South Korea for a little bit. My second deployment, first one was Afghan, but
Okay.
yeah, Okinawa you can't see because the jungle.
Oh no, you can't see shit. No,
So like the movie Platoon with Charlie Sheen, like I fell for that dude. And
Bro.
I remember my fucking junior Marines underneath me like, hey, Freelo, can you not fucking fall every 3 steps? Because literally, took 3 steps, fell. Took 3 steps, fell.
It's like so like the mud isn't like your normal like soil.
And you can't tell where you're at.
Oh,
So like
fuck,
with
you're
a
not.
map, like you need a GPS.
I step.
It's like just trees for days. They're so high you can't see shit.
they just did, huh?
Yeah.
I stepped off this line. I was like, I saw this like they were just like, oh, one. I'm like, I have my rifle in front of me because he was like using the bad way fucking like tree branches and like centipedes and shit. And I go and I just step. And I'm like, yo, dude, I fucking drop down like a ravine.
Welcome to
and,
the jungle. CCR comes on. Like it's fucking that time.
fell and like grabbed a bullet and I hit a log. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, great. You know, also, it's hotter under the canopy than not under the canopy. The canopy
Yeah,
will change all this fucking heat.
Canopy
It's
is like,
sweating fucking
you know,
balls
tree
all
line.
the time. Yeah, but
Let's get a little personal. Let's just talk about like with Angel Roman, like their transition and why like martial arts was good for them.
yeah.
I know, for me personally, I mean, I joined when I was 18. Literally had my 19th birthday at Charlie 119, so all my friends over there, you all remember that. But, it was, as far as just, I can't really even say it was so much of a transition. It was just more of like a growing into like, oh, this is shit I have to do. Because I was learning right on the fly. As soon as I left Fort Benning, it was like, oh yeah, this day you're going to report to your unit and whatever. And after that, hopefully you have a job because you're going to get paid once a month. I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
Alone and afraid.
And, I'm used to like, the whole point, like Angel said, you get paid first and the 15th.
Somebody like told your
that
fucking
direct
Angel
deposit
Roman.
just drops. So I'm used to making like $1,000. In my mind, I'm 19 years old. Like, dude, I'm like fucking Kobe Bryant with this money. And it was a certain test for me because I wrecked my car. I was trying to get into a jiu-jitsu gym at the time. Because it was funny how it worked out because I was getting my car worked on. I was like, oh, I'm going to skateboard around the fucking neighborhood while these guys do. The guy's like, oh, yeah, if you want to get a ride. I was like, dude, I kind of know where to go. Stop into a Hoist Gracie spot. I was like, oh, that's cool. A couple months later, I'm in there training. But, you start to learn those type of things kind of teach you that financial responsibility. And, it was pretty... I'd say like I had it pretty easy, I mean, I was in the Guard, my Army career, if that's what you want to call it. So I got to interact with a lot of different guys, and they're like I said, guys who were prior service Marine Corps, prior service, active Army and everything like that. So you get to really see the two differences, and what I mean is like guys who are coming off of really hardcore transitioning with like, couch surfing and everything. And I was so young, being 19, I'm like, shit, dude, like I don't want to end up in that situation.
That's a good point. That's a good reason I'm glad you're on, you're talking about that. But like, I mean, you see that. I remember like when I was fucking 19, I mean, I joined when I was 19, but I worked at a shitty railroad job. And I was the only one with a license because the rest of the dudes on the railroad had DUIs and couldn't drive. And I was like, I'm going to become them. So then I joined the service. But then I still saw that like in the military. And you see that with veterans, like that transition. So.
No, but yeah, coming back to the martial arts point, it was jiu-jitsu that kept me accountable for a lot of different things. 19-year-old. You're like, all right, yeah, I'm in the military. All right, cool. You know, I have some money in the bank because when you're in basic training, what are you spending your money on?
Whatever the fuck you want, you know.
Shoes,
Yeah,
shoes and stuff. You know, that's it. Like workout shit and everything. But other than that, I was like, all right, cool. You know, I got money in the bank. That one's gone quick.
What's a savings account?
Dude, you don't know what the fuck to say. You have one guy that comes in when you're about to leave. They tell you, to get up like,
Or
they
Roth
sit there, like,
IRA. Dude,
you know, they got their sleeves rolled a little bit. All right, guys, you know how many guys take off from here and everything? They never think of your drill sergeants. They've been in since 1992. You're like, fuck, bro. And, you know, that's how it goes. So I had to learn some things on the fly because, you know, I had a quicker kick off the tip than, you know, you guys did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can imagine, you know, serving anywhere between, what, like 6 to 8 years or something like that.
I had a 5-year contract, and then Angel, you said you did an extension on top of your 5, so that's 8. And then Adrian, what do you have?
I did 4.
The simple 4-year contract. I had a weird one. They added a year on top, which I'm glad for because it gave me time to transition.
But, you know, I can't imagine what, you know, I've seen it, but I can't imagine myself going through that period of time where your living conditions are taken care of.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, you know how to file unemployment, that's it. Deuces.
Yeah, they totally fucked me. Like, I went to TID to MCI West, which was like the comm center for the West Coast Marine Corps. And like I just did this like watch officer shit where I was like just in charge of like servers and shit. And then like I come back to my original unit like a month in or a month out of my EAS and getting out. And they're like, hey, where did you go do these things? I'm like, no, bitch, I had to find an apartment. Like, no, of course I can't fucking do that. No. I have to give me like a chance to go to like Long Beach and like find a fucking apartment or like I'm gonna be homeless.
Yeah, is that?
EAS, into that service.
ETS.
Yeah, ETS.
What does that mean?
All the different terminologies.
Yeah.
Just get out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's the same retard, but in a different
I
language.
always saw that sign at Camp Pendleton when we went there.
Oh, with the rant sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, sorry, another historian fact. So that used to be the old Camp Pendleton rant symbol, the circle with the horns on top.
Yeah.
And then they bought it. And then actually 29 Palm Springs, we bought that from the Army because the Army thought it was like unserviceable because there was so much unexplosive ordnance. And like Marine Corps was like, oh yeah, fuck that. But I think right now they have Army contractors still, like, to the day I met one on a plane. It was one of my brother's friends. He's like, oh yeah, I'm working at Palm Springs. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, yeah, we just look for unexploded ordnance and blow it up. I'm like, oh, there's still a lot? And it's been like, what, like 50 years? Like, oh yeah, there's a fuck ton.
Of course.
Because it used to be like an Army base where they would just drop ordnance, like planes.
Yeah.
And the Marine Corps was like, oh yeah, fuck, we'll take that piece of land right there.
Meanwhile, we got a deal.
The Marine Corps is like that with everything they got in the Army.
No, the military is like that in general. Your equipment comes from the lowest bidder.
Yeah.
The shit hasn't been fired since 1920. Oh, fucking yeah.
But I saw it in a film and it looked good. So.
They have like actual like petroglyphs all over Turner Palms. Like the anthropologist and the archaeologist in me, right?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, so I'm an archaeologist at this point, / anthropologist. I don't know, I'm a better anthropologist and archaeologist.
We're not just cramming eaters. I'm a historian. There we go.
Yeah, for sure. But
College education with that job.
it works out, man. It works out. We get out the skills. But yeah, man, I remember like running through there. And I ran with like the we'd run with the high runners, like guys who do like marathons. Like I'll try that out, you know.
You saying both?
There's actually this really fucking old colonel, like this like super. He was like an old colonel with like a flat.
Those
top.
guys are deceptive as
This
fuck because they're
motherfucker-
fat.
Deceptive.
They look like they can run.
But he looked
but
like
they will dust your
like a
ass.
weaker version of myself.
Fat dudes who can run are like the most deceiving things ever.
That's
I
what
remember,
I'm saying.
yeah, I had a
Yeah,
couple
man.
of buddies who like back in the, like used to play football and they were linemen, but they were like they didn't have the natural size, so they actually like get bigger. But they still had the size of a smaller guy. So one time my friend, he was like 260, me being the shit talker that I am, I'm like, I think I can beat you in a race. I don't know how we got on the conversation of running, but I'm like, I think I can beat you guys in a race.
Fat guy, I can outrun you.
Yeah, I'm a skinny,
You
like
see
16,
weakness,
17
you call it
year
out,
old.
and then you're like, fuck.
Yeah, I'm like this little skinny fat, like 16, 17 year old. I'm like, oh man, I definitely got way less weight, you know, gravity ain't holding me down, I can beat you. Boy, did he take off me when we said go. Like, I didn't realize he'd been doing sprints with like a parachute on. He's just like, oh yeah, man, this is easy. I was like, what the?
So, Angel, talk about your transition and like why martial arts was good for.
Oh yeah, so I wanted to continue my success, as being an Army Ranger, and just, I just think, the vast majority, everyone has pride in what they've done, So I wanted to stay. I wanted to continue that. And in the beginning, I was kind of fooling myself. So like I was super productive. I kept working out. I immediately went to school. I was getting A's, but a lot of things in my transition snuck up on me. And I have a friend in a third group, so SF third group. I remember he told me, he's like, be ready for the storm, and I didn't know what that meant. So I called this like the honeymoon phase, as when you get out and everyone's happy for you. You're out, you're back. Everything seems fucking like it's a bright sunny day every single day. But then after a while, all this stuff started coming in that I didn't see coming. Asking questions like, why did so and so die? Feeling like the machine kept going without you. You're like, dude, was I even not that important? You miss the brotherhood, but you don't even know that you miss it. You just feel something's missing. And then on top of that is purpose. So I'm like, fuck, like what? I didn't know what the fuck was happening because I was in the honeymoon phase, and then after it all hit, like after about 3 months.
I like that kind of
That's a good,
analogy.
that's a really good analogy.
I've heard that in relationships. I hate that for relationships, but damn, that makes sense for this.
You nailed it down, dude.
But at the same time, I was super productive because I was getting A's, I was going to college, I was training, but all this stuff started sneaking up on me mentally, and I was having a tough time. But what helped me stay balanced, was martial arts. And I would go train, and I would talk to my coaches because I would sometimes get one-on-one personal sessions, and then I would talk to my coaches, and it was kind of like therapy. And then I would talk to friends, and then I realized and then if something was bothering me, I would go train, and then afterwards, because I had trained, I could attack life easier, better. The problem was still there before the training session, but afterwards, I was a little more clear-headed. I wasn't so angry. I wasn't so whatever. So internally, I was having a battle. Was I drinking every single day? No. I was getting A's. I wasn't beating my wife. I wasn't doing any of that. But internally, so everyone thought that I was fine and great, but I wasn't. And martial arts really did help me so much. The gyms like Raw Talent Boxing and Classic Fight Team, like those dudes, I'm not sure if they know how much, had contributed to me being balanced, but they did a lot. And then obviously, then I made friends in school, and then, that was fucking hard.
One of the interesting things you kind of said during that explanations I want to touch on was, like you said, it creeped up on you. So how exactly did you, obviously, like you said, you were doing well. You did, everything on the outside was good, but on the inside, you were obviously suffering. So I guess my question is, how would somebody who's, like you said, is in that transition, who maybe, like you said, on the outside, they appear to be doing well, but how do they recognize how well am I doing on the inside? How well am I doing mentally, emotionally, spiritually?
Yeah.
How would they find those, I guess, red flags?
So the right away is when questions, for me, it always happened to be when I was driving, because that's when I was alone. That's when I wasn't.
Those were bad times.
I wasn't busy much. Yeah, I wasn't busy. So therefore, when you're driving or stuck in traffic, certain questions or thoughts come into
in
your
Southern
head.
fucking California.
In a bag, you're not listening to the professor or whatever it is. So, when questions like, was I even that important? Because the machine kept going, or you start thinking about your dead homies, or you start thinking about shit that you see that, there's civilians who do care about the veteran community. They do. We've all met them. But you met someone.
Yeah, everyone says it too. Like, oh,
thank you for your service.
Yeah, but then you met something. You're like, dude, you're just like, dude, I see you. You're like, do you even care? Do you even know? Do you even whatever? So you kind of, for me, I was like, what the fuck did we fight for? And this shit is still going. So when questions like that happen, when things, if you start getting irritated, if you start feeling, whether it might be the first time you ever feel sadness or depression, I would say go find someone. And even before that even happens, that's what happened to me, right? All this stuff started creeping up. But before that, I would say right away, join a martial arts gym, go talk to somebody. Whether you're like, I'm okay, go talk to them about and the VA will give you somebody free, talk to them.
Man, like, you're right. Like, I went through like a series of three. One of them I was like, fuck you. You don't speak English. Fuck you. I can't talk to you. I'm sorry. But this whole thing where like, she was like South African, and like, I couldn't communicate. But there's a whole thing where like, like I was having like a hard time. The same thing would creep up on me, man.
Yeah.
I started getting the same kind of thing. Is like the machine keeps going. Like, did everything that I just fucking put in, so my back's fucked. Like, I have like 4 bulging discs, and like my ankle's wrecked, my knee's fucked because my ankle's wrecked, right? Doing all this shit, you're like, man, like, just put my body and do all this shit, and like, it doesn't matter to anybody. Like all the guys I served with, like, they're probably on the way out also, like, it doesn't even, did what I do matter? And like, it started to like really fucking eat away at me. Like, what I put in didn't amount to anything. Well, thing is, it does, man. It amounts to people you were served with at the same time. Like, when I started hooking up with like these guys in training, it's like, oh man, like, fucking finally some people who get the thing I'm going through, And like, I think, like, there's an experience, man, where like I didn't get to like deploy, and like my biggest regret is like one of my best friends got like, I guess he's like a mentor, maybe I'd say. He said with a Humvee, got like shot in the dome, and like that's it. I thought this dude was fucking like fucking Superman, He was like 250, fucking like big ass engineer dude who's like fucking always like on his shit, Went 3 times back and forth from Iraq to Afghanistan. Oh man, this foolish stupid kid. Like, you said that Humvee one time, and some asshole Dragonite just took his ass out. That's all it took. It's like I was gonna be on the deployment, then another guy took my spot. Well, he was an alcoholic, so hey, we're gonna put this dude on. You're not gonna cause me in trouble. Okay, cool. Shit. But like, that happened, but like, I would have been next to this fool if that happened. It would have been me in this situation. But it didn't make me feel any less like palpable in the situation, or more culpable. Right? It should follow me forever, man. Like now, like, thank God I'm doing this shit or doing like training with my friends, man. It would have been far harder, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know, take away from this.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah,
but it ties in.
Yeah, it ties in. And when you get out, it's the brotherhood. And it's even the dudes who you think are like shitty, like soldiers or whatever. You miss them.
Marine.
Yeah.
We're gonna be politically. Marines are politically correct because they're like, Marines were different. PR, so.
They're all libertarians.
And you miss them, So you miss, and you have no friends. So it might be tough to be like, fuck you, like, I really have no friends, because I come out and I see the people who I saw as friends or might have looked up to during high school. I come out and I'm like, dude, you're like, no offense, man. I don't think I'm like the greatest shit on earth, but like, kind of a shithead, and you're kind of not really accomplishing shit in life, and you're bumming me out, and I don't want that energy around me because I want to be productive. That's true.
Yeah.
But then but with that, even then, but I'm like, I'm not gonna go out and be like, hey man, you want to be my friend to somebody else? So some of my first friends were, veterans, because we all had that issue. But martial arts, man, if it weren't for that, dude, fuck, man. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing, dude. I mean, I for sure wouldn't be drinking, because like, it's weird to like, I would see all the bad examples of people of all the shit that they were doing, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, I don't, so I'm not gonna do that. But if I don't find a fucking answer, I might just self-destruct.
That's when you get out. That's the thing, like, dude, I'll get fucking drunk most of the time, but like, if I didn't think in my mind, like, hey man, like, in a little while, you're gonna go back to like training and fighting, like, I wouldn't be.
Accountability factors.
Yeah. Like, hey, like, what if I
one day after seeing a drink on a sparring session, you're like, oh shit, that was a bad idea.
Like, that's the kind of shit I think about. It's like I'm drunk. I'll get drunk in like an hour, but like I'm saying is like that kind of self-destruction kind of shit, man. It's like, that thing you're trying to get after, it's far more rewarding. It's right there on the cusp, really of every day. Like trying to like battle against your own predispositions to like self-destruct. Like, I think that martial arts is a good place, or it's a good like a placeholder for that kind of shit.
Now that's a great phrase what you're using there in terms of like self-destructing. And what an interesting point that Angel brought up was like, he wasn't necessarily like, even if he didn't have like martial arts, or he doesn't think he would be drinking or anything, but he would find like, I guess, other ways of self-destructing. So I guess my question is, for anybody who's, like I said, still making that transition, still have to worry about these things, other than the immediate obvious ones like drugs, alcohol, partying, whatever it is, what are some of the other, maybe not as well known or as well discussed ways like a former veteran may self-destruct, you know?
Well, dude, like anything that's extreme, you know, if it's riding a bike, if it's skydiving, if it's due to like, you know what, now I'm gonna fucking, you know,
Okay, here, I love it.
yeah,
Can I actually stop right there? Like pause it real quick. So like, there's the adrenaline rush. So like, I can't go on a roller coaster where I skydive. So like when I'm on a roller coaster, and I'm gonna tie this into. So 3 topics I really want to talk about. The first, we'll talk about fighting. So just that adrenaline rush where you have to like constantly beat it up. Most people might see that with like drug abuse. So like, you know, they'll drink some beer and then they might step it up to liquor and then they eat something else. You see that with adrenaline. Same thing with, let's say, on roller coasters and you go skydiving. Once you go skydiving, roller coasters seem like shit. So we'll compare that to fighting and veterans. We'll talk about longevity. And then the third one was,
Warrior culture?
Warrior culture, sorry. We'll talk about that warrior culture. I think Adrian mentioned earlier, very early in the podcast, that warrior culture aspect. So we'll talk about first just that adrenaline rush. Fighting. And this not gonna happen in anything from a live jiu-jitsu match, sparring, or in the ring, in the cage, whatever, in a fucking live actual fight where there's the possibility of getting knocked out, submitted, your arm broken, or choked out completely.
That's fascinating. Dude, I've never been knocked out. Like I've been knocked out in an accident. Like I played hockey. I've been like 25 miles an hour into like the fucking wall, like you know, like because you know you're just going like you go for the puck, you get the fuck away. The asshole is still
I
coming.
ain't no joke too with chaos.
Yeah, like I got fucked up and my dad. When my dad lived up there in the Marine Corps, he gave me a Marine Corps flag. You know, the next day, meanwhile, he didn't know that I was drunk playing hockey that night. Like, I got knocked the fuck out playing hockey, and I was like, dude, like, I just can't even talk to you. I can't even see straight. Like, I'm so fucked up. Like, I can barely walk. Just like wobbling. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, oh, you're cool. I'm like, thank you for this. I really appreciate it. You know, but I just can't even like handle it. Like, I got fucked up doing that. But with adrenaline, man, like, I'm part of this research study with another person in my cohort for my graduate degree, my master's, and she's doing panic disorder, which I'm part of. Which, you know, like I just kind of should I deal with.
That kind of applies to like veterans and like martial arts training.
That's kind of part of the things. Like I have no anxiety whatsoever when I fight. Like, God forbid you put me in such a situation, I don't understand how to navigate. Dude, fucking like her sweating.
That is
like,
a good point.
Fuck.
Two different like kind of perspective scenarios.
Like,
There's some people that like it's the public speaking, so like I'm pretty good at public speaking. Like I love a crowd, I love attention. There's people that hate that, and at the same time, the same people that hate public speaking, they're like, oh yeah, I can do this easy, like something extremely hard. Like, yeah, I'll take a bullet, no problem. I won't even cry. But public speaking, oh, I'm scared to death of that, like phobia.
Yeah, man, someone wants to fight me, like, oh fuck, like I know how to deal with this. Like I guess so. We did the math. It's like, you know, I've probably been like.
Pause you real quick. So you guys ever heard of that UFC fighter, Hannah Cyphers?
No.
She's like a badass. She's pretty good. She was in the UFC, but like when she does not like public speaking. So like Joe Rogan, when she puts the mics next to her, and Joe like knows it. She's like, I know you don't like this. She's like, no. But she's like, she just did like a 5-minute round war with this girl, and she's like, oh, and she's a good fighter. Like she's phenomenal. And then when she gets on the mic, she's like,
yeah, I can kind of relate.
She's like the girl from Pittsburgh, like talking to the monitor, like, oh, and she's like scared as shit. She doesn't like public attention, but she can fight a fucking woman like basically tooth and nail in a 15-minute fight.
That's what I've been talking about. Like, I don't have any problems. Like I got bullied so often. Like if you put me in a situation where I'm like people making fun of me and like talk shit to me to my face.
I made my ass myself publicly, so you know it's no big deal.
I mean, at this
make
point,
myself like a dumbass.
Like, I had to train Marines like in like radio operations, like you know, had to like do radio, had to like get into a switchboard, had to like do like when I did a jungle warfare training school. So like when I got out of that, like I had to then train all the fucking trackers, amphibious tracked vehicles.
Oh yeah.
I trained these guys all like doing like jungle warfare shit, and like I would do that for whatever, but like, that was no problem. But like I get back home. Hi, my name's Adrian. I got a Marine Corps, and now I'm starting college. You know, I'm just got all fucking scared and shit. But there's like the whole thing of like, God forbid, hey man, you put me in the
Waiting for
fucking
somebody to yell at you like, bitch, stand at attention.
I got this. That I totally understand, but like that whole thing was a weird spot. But like, yeah, man, like fighting, man, it felt so natural. Please give me that adrenaline. Like, that's the shit I gotta fucking know. Like I know, like I got so I did the math with my friend in her study. I was like, first time I've done math, right? It's like I've been like five fights a year, maybe for maybe 10 years.
So let's talk about that escalation of adrenaline. So Angel,
Yeah.
let's talk about like yours. Like how far did your escalation of adrenaline go?
Dude, so like, all right, so obviously like I've been in war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and dude, like war is a drug to, and I even made a shirt off of that the company that I made or whatever and all this, but like because things that used to bring you adrenaline, weren't cutting it, so then we would take further risk to get that high, and I loved it. So when I got out, training, fighting, brought some of it. Was it as close? No, man, but it was like as close as what I can find. So like, yes, martial arts helped me, stay focused, balance, and stuff like that. But it also gave me some of that adrenaline. And I think we all seek it as veterans. And if you're not productive in the way that you seek it, it almost becomes self-destructive. If it's skydiving, then that's cool. If it's riding motorcycles, that's cool. But some of them take it to a level where I'm not sure what the number is, but I know veterans have died on motorcycles, have died in car crashes, have died whatever. Think about any extreme, whatever thing that you can do. They've done it because we're all chasing that high. We're all chasing that adrenaline. And martial arts help me feed that.
One thing can I ask you is like as a veteran who understands there's a plateau of adrenaline you're gonna reach doing in service doing your thing, right? Do you think that doing martial arts is been like an easier drip, so to speak, an easier delivery system?
Not necessarily easier because you gotta earn that shit. Like you
That's better.
you gotta step into the cage, and a lot of dudes can go do a class or a personal or maybe even spar, but like to get to the cage, like that's something else. So now is it easier? Fuck no, but I guess most things in the military aren't that easy, so.
By design, for sure.
Yeah.
You want to meet the hardest people, man. Like, it's one of my favorite things about people that I've interacted with that have been in. Well, when I say been in, like, there's, the two people who say that are like.
Don't be a robot.
No, I'm saying like convicts, man,
Yeah.
and like us in a sense, like, oh man, you were in? Like, when did you get out? And like, when you say that shit, you're like, all right, you were.
I hate people that recently got out. It's like, yeah, I got back out in 2019. Dude, that was a year ago. Just say 1 year ago.
Yeah,
I saw someone say that, like, oh, it was like, I got out in 2017. Like, it's a long time. Like, dude, that was 3 years ago.
dude, yeah. But
I still say I got out. I got out in 2016. I'm like, I didn't go out that long ago.
Dude, whether people acknowledge.
Maybe when I hit 30, I'll be like, okay, I'll look at myself as old. Like, I got out a long time ago.
Dude, but we all talk like fucking convicts in a way. Like, like I tell people, yo, man, I did 8 years, But I never say.
But they're like 8 years of what?
Yeah, I served this many years. No, man.
I did 5 years, motherfucker.
Yeah.
5 years
I
of
served my nickel.
Dude, for real, man.
I did that actually when I just got in 2016. Like, I did some time.
Yeah.
All I can think of is that meme where it's like, I saw this on Instagram one day and I thought it was so funny where it's like, who are the only two people who ask you when you get out? Military people and convicts. Like, they're the only two people. Hey, when did you leave the doghouse? Like,
Yeah. How many years did you do? Dude, that's a convict and military thing, dude.
Yeah.
the only question.
Only I would get my head.
That's what I did. Like that was my thing, shaving my head.
Did you?
So I always like go someplace that people be sketched out because I got a shaved head. They're like, God, yeah, I was wondering because you're a little muscular, you have a shaved head.
That are two common things between military and convicts, like shaved heads and muscles.
Yeah.
Tattoos too.
Yeah.
I got many tattoos. I got most of mine.
Shitty tattoos, let's just say that. Come on now.
Just,
I started.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Bro, I've seen
yeah,
some people with some
yeah.
shitty.
by the way, I fucking love your chest piece, bro.
Yeah, dude,
I
I can't help but keep looking at that
I
eye.
know, dude, like, that's so sick.
I'm yeah, is that a cat?
No, it's a fucking Day of the Dead skull. So like, or people call it a sugar skull.
Sick.
Okay, yeah, because I'm only seeing, I got it close right here. But like, so when you go back here, you only see this piece. So I'm seeing like ears and a head.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah, I got a big old cat on my fucking chest.
I'm over here Joe Biden.
My market.
Joe
Both stay frame. It's just not much.
I just Biden angel, bro.
So Roman, tell us about
Adrenaline.
adrenaline, your escalation, that first time you stepped in the cage, man.
So adrenaline, I think we all really share that, just being military guys, just have that kind of that impulse.
Yeah.
So you're like always looking for it. But for me, like getting in the cage, it's amazing because you feel like this just adrenaline rush that just pushes right through. Like you almost don't feel anything else. You're just like in the moment. And it's the most in the moment of anything you can feel. And I love it. Like, just going in, okay, because you spend especially a certain amount of time prepping from, and you get hit up by promotion. Hey, do you want this fight? Blah, blah, blah. Cool.
It
Like,
puts a little extra pep in your
Yeah.
step. Like when you have a fight coming, you're like a different person. Like
you really do. You really are. Like
it could be like 8 months out, but like it's happening. It's gonna happen.
It's just like this day is going to come. There's nothing I can do. Well, there's things you can do about it
For sure.
to prep for it, but you're not making it go away. Like that day is going to happen, so your ass better be ready to rock.
So all of y'all have had professional fights.
Well, not professional. Amateur.
Okay, no. So what I'm saying is like you have like you're gonna fight this fool in this.
We had the potential of getting knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone here.
No man, like I've been training for
Or
like,
choked
years,
out,
never
or had a
walked
limb
in.
broken.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
That kind of leads me into my next question with going back to the adrenaline rush and that same that same, I guess you could say rarefied air versus like a normal person who's like, oh, let me just go about my day versus when you're going about your day and you're like, I can get knocked the fuck out on this thing.
You know what? I try to treat it like a regular day.
Yeah.
I try to treat it like a regular day. Like
It's another day in the
I'll
office.
go home, put on, after weigh-ins, put on either like a comedy special or Star Wars and
Damn.
Show
Okay.
up.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
That's beyond regular day.
like, because I know like this moment is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like I can't like I learned I want to say maybe 6 or 7 years ago, somebody telling me, if there's something if there's a situation that you can't do anything about it, why worry about it? And if there's something that you have a solution to it, why worry about it? It's like, fuck, dude, like, something just really checked in. So that's how I approach fight day is, hey, you know what? Because I get annoyed anytime I get hey, are you ready? You ready? You ready? Hey, how you feeling? You ready?
No, dude, I just found out about it today.
And my go-to now, because, I had a 2-year layoff, my go-to now is like, I'd hope so. I've been...
That's a smart ass fucking
I
reaction.
think so. We'll find out. Because
I just say another day in the office, but damn, that's good.
yeah, because you guys show up. Randy Couture would always say, I don't get nervous. I get excited. I get a little nervous, but I get mostly
Everyone gets
excited.
nervous, like you're about to fucking fight a man.
Because I don't want to get embarrassed. And
That's the key, right? Being
There's
embarrassed.
pride, there's your name, there's your
Humiliation.
fucking gym behind you too.
There's also the point like, hey, I get to go out and show up. I get to
Okay.
get this done.
And that kind of goes back
We
to
are
like,
fucking entertainers. Like,
Yeah.
we're entertainers.
and that goes back into like kind of the ending part of that question of like with adrenaline rushes, and I guess you can kind of see this within fighters or even military of like, I guess this special type of ego of like, I'm the fucking man. Like it's just literally you and everybody's sitting there watching you do this, and there's these high stakes, and when you pull it off, I guess, is it kind of a similar feeling as like when you pull off a mission, like, fuck, we survived, and you just feel this like rush of being alive.
I get more down when I win than when I lose. Like after I win, I'm like, it's over.
Yeah, you look that moment.
everything
in
is down.
time.
Depression actually sets in after a win more than a loss. Loss actually, like especially if it's like a close one, like a split decision or some shit, that fucking the shit feeds you. Like you're like, oh, I'm on it. Like I'm in the gym next day. After like a decisive win, you're like, well, fuck, what's it doing anymore? Like you need to hurry up and book a fucking fight. And it's like the first time I fought, I remember I was jump roping and my coach approached me. He's like, what do you think about fighting? And I was like, oh yes. And he's like, okay, I'll get you a fight. And I started jumping real harder, you know. And he found me another fight even before the first fight happened. And it's like that, you know, like the adrenaline we're talking about, like it's that you're living. At the same time, and we see that with a lot of fighters, and I don't know how these guys feel last time, we'll end on that note, but like I can end, like I'm cool with just not fighting anymore when that time comes. Because if you reach that certain age where like you gotta worry about your health. But at the same time, I would like to spar when I'm like fucking 50 or 60. Just like boxing, just like you know, the sweet science. You're not gonna get fucking mugged. We're not gonna brawl. I'd like to do that in a later age. Something, Paul? What happened?
No. We're trying to negotiate how much whiskey we can drink, and I got like a shot and a half here.
Well, we still got Fidelity
We're
for
still
fucking
on
drugs.
socialism a little bit right now. Fuck, well, I was just supposed to.
Bro, you got
reference
there.
that.
Huh? Hey, Rob, too. What you got?
Dude, nothing, dude. I fucking down that shit. I was like, dude, I'm done.
You done?
Dude, if you got a drive through, give me
No,
some.
we gotta do a little bit. We gotta.
I still have beer over here. We got beer over there. All these fucking drugs. Yeah, I wouldn't set a good image for veterans. No.
I love how we were just like, we had so many segments on, yeah, addictions, struggles with alcoholism. You got enough whiskey?
First off, this is the Dalmore 12.
So we talked about adrenaline and that adrenaline rush. Let's get to that second point about longevity, and then we'll get into warrior culture.
And then Angel, you can start with this because we were talking a little bit off camera how you just completed, you said you're wanting like a marathon? Like,
Yeah, so I just completed a marathon, well, a couple marathons in the last 5 months. I ran 2 marathons and did a 48-mile challenge. So like, obviously I want to push my body to its limits, and I want to find whatever my limit, physical and mental limit is, but at the same time, I want to do it forever. So I started researching ways to improve recovery and better training and stuff like that. As opposed to, so like now I do proper warm-ups. I train correctly. I get enough sleep because that's when your body recovers a lot. Proper nutrition. I'm going to school to become a registered dietitian, and nutrition plays such a key role into what your body is, like, and to make certain hormones and stuff like that you need certain vitamins and minerals. So longevity is a very important thing, and I mean, I think we all do, for the most part, is a terrible job at realizing like what it is we put into our bodies affects us so much. And as a veteran, when you go through so much and you put your body through so much and you get out, I think you need to take care of yourself. And then more importantly, I think you should take care of it while you're in, so just be smart, man. Because the goal, you don't want to be, so like I'm about to turn 30, but I'm faster and stronger than I was when I was 20, and I hear it. But I mean, shit still hurts. Don't get me wrong. Shit hurt, this and that hurts. But overall, I mean, I think veterans should do a better job at taking care of their bodies. Because we all know so many who say they don't work out anymore because this hurts or that hurts, and they're out of shape, and how many are overweight. I mean, I've had a lot of people at school be like, how come you're not like, no offense, but like other veterans who are fat?
No, I think you're right. Like one thing I want to add on to that is like as a veteran, if I'm talking to other veterans, you motherfuckers, like what I'm saying is that my main point is that like we get this idea that we're fucking bulletproof and that we can do no fucking wrong. Nothing we can do will affect our performance in any way. When you're fucking 17 to like 21, that's the fucking truth, dude. Like you're fucking, you feel like Wolverine, you give a fuck. Like you will put your body.
Ibuprofen.
Yeah, take 800 milligrams of Corman, take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen.
Give us a fucking clean socks, bro. I'll fucking take that fucking
Clean socks, clean your socks, clean water.
When I think that shit all the time, and I'm like like now as like I'm 20, I'm 28, I'm about to 29. I'm thinking, like, bro, like I gotta be a little careful in some ways. Where like if I don't warm up and do my shit, like I'll fuck my knee up. Like I tore my patella tendon kicking Jose in ribs. Kicked Jose in the ribs and like came down. I'm like, oh shit, I can't fucking. There's no weight on this. Oh fuck. I'm like, everybody was like, oh man, it's cool. It happens all the time. And, like, if you're in this life, you gotta know, like, you gotta take care of your fucking like body. You gotta sleep well. You gotta eat well. Like you're right. Like being a dietitian, man, that's a cool fucking job. One, it's a fucking very hard science given the people's different biologies. It is what it is. Like, I think about it all the time, man. Like, if I slept more and ate better and drank less, I'd probably be in a better situation. But I'm not gonna do that sometimes. But what I'm saying is, like, also it's important to do that. Longevity, we're talking about longevity, man. I think that you run a marathon, man. Like, you're probably the best case example. Like, other than fighting, I think marathon runners are probably in the best possible shape. Like, I do.
Taking those rest days, like when they're needed. So like Michael Bisping talks about that, like overtraining.
Yeah.
A lot of fighters do that, and I'm just gonna not just veterans, but fighters in general, wear fucking headgear, please, so you can be coherent when you're 50, maybe still train, like do the sweet science boxing here and there.
I want to be an old man who's like fucking up.
Still
like,
be able to
young
train.
guys. Yeah.
I hate those guys that are like 50 or 60. I don't hate them, but like I feel I don't want to be them. Like I still want to roll when I'm like older.
Yeah, I don't want to be.
I still want to be that active. I want to be that 8-year-old dude that's active as hell, and you're like,
Yeah, I don't want to be boxing. It's like,
No.
I'm tired of beating you up, bro.
It depends on what kind of style you are. If you're like a brawler, or if you're about that sweet science. Like if you're about just jabbing and.
Yeah,
And
I
going
mean, to
back
touch
to
on that longevity thing, I mean, just being active in general.
Yeah.
When you're in the military, you're active, but you don't really do much because you get taught some bullshit stretches, and you're like, oh, I gotta be politically correct.
Yoga.
You gotta be
Do the
lame,
yoga.
whatever.
You're right, man. Like, there's an old like master guns I met. Like the only reason that he was able to survive as long as he did is because he's a fucking giant. He was like 6'5", like 220, 280. So anywhere between that. Honestly, I have no idea at the time. You couldn't possibly like address the correct weight, but like think about that dude. I'm like, no man, like you are just a fucking mule. Like if you were anybody else, like you have no rubric for anyone to follow in your footsteps. Like you're just a fucking monster as a human being. Like if you're my size, you're like 5'4", you're carrying like how much does 240 weigh? Like what, 80 pounds?
Like
60.
Yeah. Okay,
Right.
Plus ammo, right? Plus ammo. Plus your sappies, plus your fucking Kevlar, plus your fucking like stupid ass boots and your food and shit. Like
Your body armor.
yeah, you're carrying all this shit. Like I remember thinking like bro, like they're punishing me for this, but like in my mind, I'm like, nah man, like you're 5'4". It's your responsibility to be this tough. And like in the fight life as we live, man, like dude, you better be fucking tough as shit. You better think and like absorb that kind of like lifestyle and be like, hey man, like, if you don't think that's your normal, like you're wrong. That's how you should always live your life.
Good point. Good phrasing. I love that.
Yeah, bro, like one of the reasons, like but I've been in fucking grad school doing all this bullshit. Like you bet,
It takes you away from the real world a little bit. Like
it really does. And all I want to do, man, all I want to do for the last couple of years is just train, like do my shit. But like, when you have to write a fucking 50-page document on some bullshit. And by the way, most people don't read. College is bullshit most often. I want to say, like, it's cool. You're a historian, right? I'm an anthropologist.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of a scam sometimes, but UD need. I feel like more people should get an education.
I've learned.
But they need to fix the system a bit. Yeah.
I challenged. So this is fun. So this is not. It's getting off topic, but
You're allowed. It's okay.
okay.
We're on a podcast.
When I was on, so when I first got
America, it's a free country.
God damn it.
when I first got accepted into my grad school class, right? They're like the guy who sponsored me. So you have a sponsored professor be your thesis advisor. He brought me in. He's like, hey man, you need to understand that like everyone, except for me, is going to be against you. What do you mean? It's like, well, you're studying masculinity and you're studying like martial arts and violence. What do you mean? I really didn't get it. I'm like, no. Like everyone here is about like feminist doctrine. They're gonna essentially tell you why you're wrong the entire time. So you have to be ready to like debate against them your entire trip, your entire grad school class.
Well, I'll pause it right there. It doesn't. It's just that, there's a lot of women that train martial arts, and there's a lot of women veterans. I know a lot of women veterans. Same thing that applies to them. Jiu-jitsu saved my life. I've heard that from women veterans.
No, you and I, you're
No, I agree. We're on the same page, but a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, right. My issue is like that whole thing is happening in this
Academia.
Yeah, but in academia, man, like I was straight up.
We'll roll. You might like it. And they're like, oh, I don't like to touch people. I'm like, oh.
No, I can, like, to kind of play off of what you're saying, like, I'm a 20-year-old college student. I definitely noticed there is a very weird, just going to a community college, it's almost more, like you said, like the traditional guy things are not embraced. That, being able to just be like a normal masculine stereotypical guy is not like as embraced as somebody who's more like, oh, I'm more emotional and into art and all this. And meanwhile, like normal guys just are getting shat on basically and have no outlet for this energy that they have.
And one thing I want to say is like, here's the thing, like I don't think that there's no man in the world who doesn't experience any of those emotions, right? Mm-hmm. Like my main issue here was like being taken aside by a guy who is in the top echelon of our department and being like, hey bro, like you better be fucking ready to fucking square up intellectually.
Like, why is that happening? I could see why. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, cool. Like, and first it's like, okay, but like, well, you know what I'm talking about, adrenaline, right? Like, that shit gave me fucking adrenaline.
Oh,
like,
yeah, okay.
I was fucking ready to fucking fight.
That was that military thing. That was like that pushback, and you're like, okay, I'll fight against that.
Cool, let's fucking do this thing. So like, I became an expert in this field of like masculinity, which I didn't mean to do. Like, I didn't like, hey bro, it's ironic.
Which has been questioned lately with like talk. I do believe there's different interpretations, but like of toxic masculinity. But but my version of it is it's dudes that are like, so we can all relate to this. Dudes that think they're the shit and they realize like, oh, they're not. So like the guy that comes in, like, oh yeah, you're not gonna tap me on their first day, and they're like, oh,
they're over there tapping like their meal.
It's just like a false sense of information or ignorance.
Well, one thing I want to say
that's toxic masculinity. It's not. It's just like a phony masculinity.
Perceived ability,
Yeah. So I do kind of believe in that, but we can go in definitions of that or like a lack of that.
Can I say?
Yeah, like you do think, man.
So this is one thing.
Those people, that same mindset was attacking you.
No, you're right. So things like I've inadvertently become like an expert in these topics of how to categorize certain masculine traits, right? The thing is like talking about this particular phenomenon. So the toxic masculine characteristics are usually like cornflowed into being people who are like wanting violence, who just like fight people because they like fucking disrespect them, right?
I'm a pacifist. I'm an MMA fighter. I avoid violence. At a bar, if somebody starts something with me, I'm going, or a public gathering, a football game. If I see something about to start, I'm walking the other direction because public, like,
I bought someone a beer one time.
like at a bar or a sporting event, and I see something going down, I'm out of there because it doesn't even matter actually if you know how to fight. Someone could cold cock you out of nowhere that you don't see.
So this is a beautiful.
Pull a gunner at night too, like you just never know, like what.
Yeah, there's some crazy people down here. So
yeah, like in the literature, man, like they think of people who are being toxic masculine are people who like ideally are the well, they're the guys who like. Here's the thing. This is what I parsed through my research. Like they're calling toxic masculinity a thing that it's like anything that men do that is socially regressive, right? Like, but here's the thing: if women did the same thing, it'd be equally socially regressive. Right?
That is a good point.
Like,
so like women do ruin lives.
Exactly.
Women do fuck, like, so if you're in an abusive relationship and a woman hits you, that's not cool.
There was just
that's not cool on male or female. Like, that's not.
Exactly my problem here. But like doing the investigation of masculinity, doing this thing about like essentially martial arts in general, it's like you're asking people who spent this huge portion of their lives training their body and mind to be able to like fight and do these things, like essentially like manifesting their masculinity in certain ways using their body that is controlled and contrived in these ways. It's like you're probably not going to experience that same kind of shit from them as you would from a guy who's going to like like just try to start fights at a fucking like football game or at a fucking like you know. Like,
Like
that's one of the things,
disciplined
like,
chaos versus disciplined chaos.
I feel like fighters do know what that might is not right, because just because you could overpower someone doesn't mean you're right.
bro, like I got in a fight. And,
Like if we're having an argument, I'm like, oh, I want to fight you. If I win, I'm right. It's like, no, you can still be wrong, bro.
yeah, like that's the thing. It's like it's one of those things like I get thinking about like in my studies like, but like I can't tell you like I spent like years reading about like different kind of exhibitions of violence where like in cultural situations are okay, but like in Western cultures, right? Like, hey, like you don't do that because it's like obviously like, ethically wrong because you're stronger or you have like a cultural hierarchy in place where you can do whatever you want to do on people who aren't part of your culture. You can be like, hey, like my culture on top, fuck you. You're obviously part of other culture. Like I can do whatever I want to do and shit. But like the cool thing about our situation here is what I've learned, right? Is like, man, like we're in a spot where as Americans, in our spot, we hold all the responsibility for what kind of aggression, kind of violence actually exhibited upon our culture, right? Like we shouldn't have veterans who are Army Rangers. We shouldn't have veterans who are fucking National Guard or fucking Marines of any kind. Like fucking some like bullshit ass dude out who's like fucked up in a bar. He's like trying to talk shit. Like we understand like we're the kind of like we're the bottom like actually is. Hey, like don't fuck up that guy. He's just an asshole. Get his friends, get him some water, and like get him out of here. Like if we have to, we can like fucking do that. One, I mean you can. I'm sure you can. Well, you can too. Okay, do that. You actually have to. But like what I'm saying here is like there's a whole portion of the warrior culture that we have to live in here. We're like, hey, like
Titans go right into
yeah. What I'm saying here is like,
Right,
we have this whole responsibility here, and especially as we get out, like, hey man, like we know these kind of like warrior ethic kind of shit. Like, hey, like this is how you behave as a warrior, as like a master of these masculine enterprises.
a code of honor.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that kind of brings up to this kind of an interesting point that I even noticed just training versus people who don't train. Like, obviously, like you said, there's that warrior's code that's almost instinctually in you, but how do you, I guess, for let's say a transitioning veteran, going back to that big point we're trying to make here, for a transitioning veteran, how do you, I guess, still have that warrior's code and abide by that? Because obviously when you abide by that, it's satisfying, it's just drilled into you. But meanwhile, a normal society who doesn't like necessarily follow a warrior's code or even necessarily may not believe in it, how do you kind of still navigate all that? And still...
Not everybody has that. I'll let Adrian go off on what he was going on, but I'm just gonna say a side note that like not everybody has that, and they gotta find that.
This is my thing. So here's the thing. This is a responsibility. You know, like this is like a big kind of scheme here. It's like, hey man, like how do we make these fucking civilians like understand the responsibility they have over their own like masculine lives? Like, being a Mars citizen, like, hey man, you have testosterone in your body, like you outweigh any female in your area by like seven times, right? Like what responsibility do you feel to be able to be the example for other men in your area? Like, hey, like how do we use what we understand? Like, how do we tell and inform other people how to like deal with this kind of shit? Because my thing is like, it's so cool for us. Like, as much as my main scheme of operating is like getting service members into training so they can like figure themselves out. Like, we're the highest possible example of these kind of behaviors. Like what do we think we can do to like shape the other assholes and like make them understand like, hey, like you may not be us, but like how do we make you more like us so you don't like fuck up your world?
I think the big thing is just
Listen to the Army guys talk. The Marines talk too much. Sorry.
I think it's just set a good example. You know,
Right.
just go out, be a solid individual. I mean, we all get taught, you know, be the example. Go out, you know, because we learned what dress right dress. What does dress right dress get based off of? The guy that has his shit, you know, together. You know, like you look at the guy who has the butt set up the right way. Okay, I gotta make my shit look like this.
Monkey see, monkey do. Yeah. That is really.
You know,
I'm not gonna lie. I've looked at him. Is he doing that? look, you do the right thing, I'm gonna do the right thing.
We all do that, and I think it just comes down, like I said, just setting the right example. We've all heard that corny phrase, some people find it corny, some people find it be the change you want to see in the world.
You're right.
It's like if you want to, because people bitch about everything on social media, like, such is an a-hole, all this, blah, blah, blah. But you go and look at their posts and it's like, well, you're the same thing. Like, you can't expect change if you're the same type of person.
Right.
But, if you're out there leading that type of life, like, just being a disciplined individual, you're not a dick to people, you treat people with respect. And you carry yourself a certain way that rubs off on other people because, in the gym, if you see somebody that's like dialed in on their diet, on their nutrition, they're showing up a lot and you're like, yeah, maybe that person is getting a call from Bellator, that guy's getting a call from UFC. Maybe I should hang around them, pick up those habits.
Looks you
Positive vibes.
I mean, you went to Ranger school, right? I mean,
How's that, bro?
that's even a higher level of that.
Dude, that was fucking probably like besides war, right below like one of the worst best things I've ever done. Yeah, shit, dude. But I mean, to build off on what you said, man, is all right. So the whole masculinity, that stuff, and set the example, man. I mean, well, and I got out, and I didn't know this, but 95% of the people who make up my major and my profession are women. So now I'm going into a classroom where it's 40 people, and 90% of that is women. So,
Can you explain to the audience what your major is?
So I'm a nutrition and dietetics major, and I'm going to school to become a registered dietitian. In special operations, you have more money and more resources, and in our multi-million-dollar private gyms, we have registered dietitians, athletic trainers, strength and conditioning coaches, physical therapists. So I met a registered dietitian, and she changed my life. So then I'm going to school, right? And to be honest, I've never had a problem with I've never had to suppress who I am. And I think as a veteran, when you get out, if you're finding yourself angry a lot, that's internally, man. And you got to check yourself, and you have to address that. And if you're bitching and complaining all day without having any serious like energy or like, you can't bitch and complain and then at the same time have no serious effort to try to change things, because then the people that you're complaining about, you're them. So what I decided to do was be kind to people, set the example, like how you said, and then in serious situations, I have either tried to calm them down, just escalate everything, or just go away. Just go away. A fine example today was, dude, I went to Whole Foods with my brother and I after training, and I walk in, I'm like, look, man, I understand. Some people are wearing masks. I'm not wearing a mask. But I asked the security guard or the worker, I'm like, hey, do I need to wear a mask? And he's like, honestly, I don't know. He was just fucking stacking up fruit, and then this lady walked in with their children without masks, and he's like, well, I guess you don't. And then one of the workers, dude, was like, as I'm checking out, was like, hey man, you need to have a mask. But like, he didn't just say it kindly. He like fucking try to fucking flex on me. And then he did it to my brother, because to my brother, like, yo, dude, go get some raspberries, because my kids like raspberries and we're out. So then I saw him do that, and he's fucking like flexing, and I was just like, like, if I was an angry fucking veteran, I would have fucking stopped this fucking dude out at the Whole Foods airport. But I didn't, because I was like, look, man, clearly that's something internally, that the fact that instead of being professional and addressing a certain way, he had to be a certain way, because it's not worth it, man. The vast majority of things in life are not worth a confrontation.
Yeah.
And when they are, it's life and death. So if it ain't life and death, like a war, dude, that's
deep.
That's one of the problems, man. Like, imagine having your whole life being like especially when you're in, man. Like, when you're in service, like the things that actually had to fuck your life up are actually like life or death. Like, that's one of those things you have like uncross those wires for. It's like, no, like, oh, no, not a big deal. Like, you don't have to actually go to this. You ever see that fucking, like, the video of that dude on Camp Pendleton? These guys are going in the gate, and this dude just, like, kicking his fucking door and, like, yelling at him.
Yeah, I saw that video. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, that guy just didn't, like, dial back. He didn't understand. He came in, like, no, you're cool. It's not a big deal. You just cut you off for a second. Not a big deal, you know? Like, in those moments, man, it's one of those things where, like I got in a fight in a bar named Sue in Salt Lake City, where I thought a guy that was my friend.
I want to go there.
Yeah, it's a sick bar. It's one of my favorite bars in Salt Lake City, right? But like, I got in this fight. Like, I didn't meet you. I looked like James Bond, right? With fucking snake bites, right? I just got in the Marine Corps. It was like the month after I got in the Marine Corps. Going for a friend's birthday. Like, we're drunk, we go up the stairs, and like I go up the stairs and like open the door, there's a little smoke pit, and like I see this dude with spiky hair in a headlock, fucking beat up. Hey, will you hold the drink for me? And like I just fucking jumped into Superman punch, get this guy out, you know? And then like we started fucking going at it, and then he tackles me, he's far bigger. Like, everyone's bigger than me. But
the truth comes out.
Yeah, he's fucking far bigger than me.
Just stand up in the crowd.
But he grabbed me by the tie, bro, and I was like, okay. So I put him in the fucking
Oh, you had a
armbar.
tie on. You
Yeah.
had the legal
I'm telling you, no.
and figural noose of the
Yeah,
people.
I
That's what a tie is. I never
Look
will
like
tie.
James Bond.
Like a tag, dude.
Got
Like a tie?
How, man?
Yeah.
The whole thing is like, the whole thing is like, in that moment, like, that's the kind of shit, like, you do that kind of thing before. Like, hey, like, in that moment, like, hey, I can do these things, you know? It's like,
So what we've hinted at so far with you two is like a code. So I just want to get into a warrior culture. Is like the code is like we all have our morals, we all have our ethics. Everybody has it, but like veterans and military, it's like it's something we follow by, and it might change over time, but like there's still some sort of code.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
the
even in
unbrainwashed.
training with martial arts, I mean, yeah, I'm going in there to finish a guy, but like in training, a fight is different. Like you're fucking dead,
You're
motherfucker.
not gonna be
But
trying.
in training, if I see someone compromise, like they buckle, I'm gonna let off. I'm gonna go from fifth gear to like
You better.
1 or second gear.
you're better.
Yeah,
Yeah, because if
I'm not gonna try to knock out my training partner or like fucking knock him out with a body
there's
shot.
no benefit to that at all. You know,
No.
like Chad will say, like in our training room, he'll be like,
Break you
"Look,
by.
guys, we get paid to fight. We're not getting paid right now." for
Yeah.
sure."
Good.
Yeah.
I love Chad. Chad Savage George. Yeah, the best.
Are you telling me Wanderlei Silva doesn't have a point destroying his training?
Now that's
partner?
just the Curitiba.
That's him, dude. He's crazy.
That's just another thing, bro.
Moms.
That's just that Brazilian. That's that
Yeah,
outside.
you train like
That's
savage.
that outside.
No
That's a
wonder all
CTE. Does anybody have anything else to add to warrior culture or anything else?
Dude, one thing to the world culture, man, that I just have to bring up, dude. We all have multiple reasons why we join,
Yeah.
and you know, there's not just one sole reason. When people ask me like, why did you join? Well, there's not one reason. There's a lot of reasons. You know, I want to protect my country. I want to repay a debt. You know, as in like I was born and raised on fucking food stamps. So like you know, the country took care of me when I was a child, so I want to give it back. There's the 9/11 attack, and we all felt a certain way when it happened. We felt like we had to protect our country. All this and that, but one of it is that I feel and it's not every male. It's that some of us are born with this thing where we want to find out what the fuck we're made out of, and we want to be a warrior. So it has nothing to do with fucking small reason of it why we joined. It has nothing to do with patriotism. It has nothing to do with my grandpa joined, so I joined. It has to do with like I want to see what the fuck I'm made out of, and I hope it's what I think it is.
How do you test your metal, man?
Huh?
How do you test your metal? That's one thing like fucking at was like I did hockey and like kickboxing, but like no man, like there's nothing like joining the Marine Corps or joining the military in any way. It's like how do you fucking know what you're worth and what you can give to your society?
Because you essentially give yourself up. Like you are a more active. I don't really feel entitlement. I stay away from that entitlement. Like I'm not an entitled vet, I'm not a bro vet, but you do give yourself up. Like
Absolutely.
you're basically Uncle Sam's fucking slave.
Yeah. No, I think that matters.
You're a martyr.
Like,
You're a martyr.
dude, like in every other
Orders
culture.
of death.
You just gave up all your rights. Like,
Like,
the thing about the military is like you can't quit your job. You're like, fuck this shit, I
You
quit.
don't just go like, I'm going to put my 2 weeks here. It's like,
I'm
yeah.
Yeah, man, one thing is like, we live in a culture right now where like we're one of the first cultures where like you don't actually have to prove your fucking like metal. Like as a man, like you can do whatever you want, right? But like I blame the English in some ways, but like at the same time, man, like bro, like if we're gonna continue having a prosperous society in the same ways we have, right? It's like no, you have to have the men in your society who are like one predisposed, as I think we are, to violence. Like we have to have us like you have to have a place for us. You have to have us like honestly have like a good pathway. Like hey, like join the military, do your thing, fight, do what you can, but also like be a good fucking man. Like hey, like being an asshole and like bullying people isn't the same as like being in the military, right? Like it's not the same, not at all. Because like I got bullied fucking for years. The bullies that I had in high school and like in junior high, like they fucking don't want to talk to me. They don't want to fucking hang out with me. They don't have a beer with me. They're fucking cowards. You fucking men, right? It's like no, fuck these dudes. Like we have to have like a real responsibility of like what we have in place is like a real like martial like I don't know, organization or martial like occupation in a sense. Like I don't know.
It's an environment where your personality is embraced because
Exactly.
there's an attack socially on guys like us essentially going on
Dude,
right now.
one thing I want to say is like there's these dudes who like video games who are like like scared of like violence and like want to deal with like conflict. Like man, what I want to do with I want to deal with the dudes who like play Halo or like Call of Duty. I want to fucking fight those dudes. I want to beat those assholes here, like these skinny ass like assholes who are like maybe they're not like the most popular because they're not like taking like Xanax or whatever that's cool right now. I have fucking no idea. But like man, like give me these fucking teenagers who are like they want to play video games who are like high skill, high stress, but super violent. Like no, like get these dudes in fucking boxing gloves and like headgear. Let's just fucking get these ass in here, man. Let's fight these assholes.
That's a generational thing. That's a
Right.
problem, especially as technology progresses. So.
Right.
It's just a reality check that
But
people
also-
aren't getting.
But where do you think? Here's the thing, man. Like, how old are you?
28.
How old are you?
28.
How old are you?
29.
I'm 28 as well. Hey man, like we have all responsibility here to like these stupid assholes who are gonna be like 18, 19.
You sound like boomers, like we're millennials.
Oh, I
going
know.
boomers. Back in my day,
Yeah. I love listening to this as a 20-year-old behind the camera. Just be like, those fucking 18-year-olds.
How are you?
20.
You're 20 years old. You fight you. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But my goal here, what I'm saying here is like, hey man, like the old responsibility of the generation behind us. Is like we didn't get. I didn't get this shit other than like fucking drum fighters. Like I didn't get this shit from like anybody who was in my squad leader after that. It's like we have this real responsibility as a masculine we're mascot. We're a masculine mascot in certain ways. Where like after 9/11, we understood who that was, right? We understood like fucking the dude who got killed in friendly fire. We know who Pat Tillman, yeah. We know who that is. We know Mad Dog Mattis is. We know who.
all those figures.
Yeah.
basically.
American Sniper
And
guy.
then they can go on.
No, they can't. No,
We know Corporal Dunham. We know.
Oh yeah, you got Dunham as well. Yeah.
We know Marcus Luttrell. We know.
We know all the big names.
Okay, so before we
Chris
end,
Kyle.
yeah, before we end, I want to do my website. It's keepfightinginc.org.
What made you settle on that name?
Keepfightinginc.org.
What made you like think keep fighting?
Oh, because honestly, man, like doing the training with all you assholes, it's like no, man, like these fools just want to keep fighting. They just want to keep doing the thing that they do.
Or when you're down, you just have to keep going.
No,
Like I'm gonna show up the next day.
honestly, yeah, no, man, like, bro, like me, even my own wife, like, no, man, like, if I didn't keep like doing my thing, keep fighting, and like dive into my own personality here, it's like I would have been like high on cocaine and drugs and like nonsense. I would have been like drunk the entire time. Like I couldn't have manifested any of this bullshit. I just did, right? Like, I had to go through like the law. I had to go through like lawyers to like organize my fucking like nonprofit to make sure that I wasn't like violating any international or national laws, so I wouldn't.
Taking that leap of faith, taking that step forward.
Exactly. So like I do all this shit, but like no man. Like my thing is like I have this huge faith in those of the martial inclination. You know? Like I think of like dude, warriors, man. They're my favorite people. Like, I'm one of those people. You know, like I'm one of those motherfuckers. Like wants like fucking fight people and like do the thing. Like I think options like if we don't take care of each other after the war is over, we're going to be a fucking bottomless pit of bullshit and like sadness. Like I don't
Warrior without a cause or rebel without a cause.
Exactly. So like my thing is like, no, we're not doing that. Not at all. Like, I'll do my thing. Like you know, I have a master's degree. Like, I'm gonna do other things other than this. But like my thing is like I will give so much of my life to other veterans because like fucking they deserve it more than anything else. So I deserve it, you know. But like in my world, I'm like. I don't deserve as much as fucking Sergeant Bouvier who got shot in the head. You know?
Yeah. There's always like the saying bigger fish.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like you displayed that in your VA claim where you were saying you could have gotten more, but you said, no, there's going to be other guys that are going to need that.
No, man,
That sets a precedence.
I still hope it should, man.
I believe Dan Crenshaw said the same thing. Dan Crenshaw took zero disability because he thought it was a handout. He don't want it.
No shit, exactly right. I mean, I took some, man. Like I get like, yeah. They're not no shit, right? I fucking love that dude. But you know,
Makes some complaints. Oh, I'll talk to him here and there, but yeah, he's a good guy. It's very hard to find a genuine person in politics.
It's so hard. It's so hard. But you know, I'll vote for that guy. Give me the snow ass eye. It's like class ass motherfucker.
Damn, Pete Davidson.
Does anybody think has to add or end on a no? I mean, that's pretty good to add no, but
Yeah, support this cause. It's important. There's people that are depending on this. I know I'm going to find a way to dip some money in. So.
Can I hit something? Hey man, like every $1,000 every $1,200 is for one person for a year. If we get 5.
now we're doing some math.
That's
It
5 bucks.
makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that's 5 motherfuckers. Like I'm not taking.
And to like a billionaire, that's like chump change. So like when they do that.
Yeah, that's like 5 lives changed in.
But we can take this like a grassroots movement. Everybody charges you like $5, $10. If you add it up, like it pays for a membership.
Exactly. You know, I told Angel here. It's like, bro, like my nonprofit is entirely designed for.
And you just curved a lot of things or problems you messed up. Like we went over like suicide, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, things like that.
One thing is I want to say is like one, I don't knock anybody for killing themselves. One, you better be fucking brave as fuck to fucking jump into the void like that shit, right? What I'm saying is like you better be more brave to be able to like take the fucking life you have right now, and it's uncomfortable and it's shitty. It's like, hey man, go to the fucking gym, work out, get your fucking ass kicked, and keep fucking going. Like, that's even harder. I think. And like exactly. There we go. Yeah, keep fighting. Exactly. Hey, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. This whole shit. Okay. But like, no man. Like, I've been doing this for like 6 years now. I didn't realize that I was going to get like the encouragement from all these folks who've been fighting the way up. Like honestly, like, I thought I was going to have to interview fucking Andrew, and he was going to give you a shit afterwards. Like, you know, afterwards, like, no, this is really cool. How do I get this? Keep going. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. I'm like, then we're in this fucking bullshit ass time period here, and it's like, yeah, let's do this thing. I'm like, that's all I needed. Like, all I need is like enough veterans to give a shit enough. Be like, hey, like get this fourth thing. Cause like one, dude, if we get if we get like 14, well no, we get like $300 or $3,000. We cover this asshole, that asshole, this asshole. We cover all these assholes fucking the gym dudes for a month or for a year.
That'll be good.
Right.
I would prefer to somebody like new, but like I'm cool with it too.
Yeah. Dude, no, somebody who's like really just getting out.
Yeah, someone that needs to
I
get
prefer traditional veterans, but yeah, I like
Give
it.
me a second.
Yes, sir.
Here's the thing. So, hey, we cover golf with this, right? Doesn't mean we can't not push our own money and our own savings.
Or like it's like an investment. So you've invested us,
Exactly.
we'll give back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Veterans for
Exactly.
veterans.
No. Yeah, hey, bro. Like the only reason this shit works is because we take care of each other.
Yeah.
The veterans give a shit like about each other more than anything, but really more than anybody else. That's what I've understood. Is like.
So please, if you're not a veteran,
Yeah, to kind of give like
Listen,
a more
help
civilian side of it, like, you know, I've trained here at this gym, and a lot of people at this gym,
lot of
obviously
vets.
former veterans, a lot of things since 18 years old, and on top of that, having my own friends now when we
we
get
get a lot of great knowledge, haven't we?
Yeah, we get a lot of great knowledge. But coming out of high school, having other friends going to the military, it's like one of the things that what you're saying, that perception of broken, what as you put it, broken tools or broken whatever, like, or that just these bad perceptions. I can say from a civilian standpoint, having grown up in most of my, I guess, leader figures being former military or whatever, the most kindest, caring, most interested in your personal development type of people, which is why we need to do more, because on top of it, for somebody, you know, it's easy as a civilian to take care of, like to give to another civilian or whatever, but you literally look at how much they sacrifice and how much they give just so you can fucking walk down to the grocery store, pay, talk whatever bullshit you want about whatever thing, and just for you to have that, somebody had to give up their life or their life, their livelihood, their whatever potential opportunity, you know, so you could have that. So it is very important on a civilian side to not just say, oh, hey, thank you for your service, and then, you know, not even think about that guy the next day, but genuinely say, hey, thank you, give back in your own income, you know, support these things, get this message out, because they're not just these broken people. They're some of the greatest, most, like you said, will give back to you if you invest into them.
Maybe I'm blood. I love you.
And kind of before we sign off, let's hold off on the claps and give Angel an opportunity, as if you want to say anything before we sign off, and then we'll get to the claps and outros.
Yeah, if you're a transitioning veteran, I recommend it, man. Just go to a martial arts gym. Most gyms, if you tell them you're a veteran, you tell them your story, they might, you know, let you be there.
They
for
already
free.
might have a discount for you.
Yeah, they already
Most
have a
do, yeah.
discount, or
Most
they'll
do.
let you be there for free, man. And I'm not saying that a martial arts gym is going to answer all your problems, but what I'm saying
Good
is
point.
that it's going to give you a new brotherhood that you may or may not like. It's going to have you interact with people. It's going to still continue to test you physically, mentally, and then any life issues that you have after a serious workout, especially in the martial arts gym, which is something that if hopefully you never have to use, but if you find yourself in a tricky situation, you have skills to protect yourself and the people you love. It after a serious workout like that, you know, it'll help you tackle obstacles in life a lot easier. And it's, believe it or not, man, some of the people in the gym, they're the most kindest people ever, you know, so don't be scared. Because I mean, even me being in the military and after going to war, when I first walked into a martial arts gym, I was nervous. I was scared, you know, but they're some of the kindest, you know, nicest people, man. So go to a martial arts gym if you can.
All right. Well, that was a good talk, guys. Great podcast. And keep fighting.
Thank you, my connoisseurs of the fight life.